They're angry to know that the king will be coming back. They hate
White
so bad, but
people.
I'm glad, man. What's up with that? The traps have been laid, I'ma slay up a couple racks. Round to the top, make your lady get wet. But we need you to manage the bubble. Tis the motherfucking season. They're angry to know that the king will be coming back. They hate me so bad, but I'm glad, man. What's up with that? Tis the motherfucking season. They're angry to know that the king comes. Tis the motherfucking season. They're angry to know that the king will be coming back. Motherfucking season. They're angry to know that the king will be coming back. They hate me so bad, but I'm glad, man. What's up with that? The traps have been laid, I'ma slay up a couple racks. Round to the top, make your lady get wet. Best believe you can get in trouble back. Nice back, you think so strange. Feels good not to struggle for change. I'm over it, hitting, they don't feel my pain. All about blood sport, I can still see the stains. I control who I keep around me. I'm out here just collecting bounties. I'm still mixed in with brownies. Oh, I do it all proudly. On a new journey, skin animated. I'm
Nothing really hurts me.
I'm so dirty, nobody worthy. 3-0 rapper, last time I'm 30. Smoking hard, you love poppers. Bodies on the table, I'm feeling like a doctor. This shit feels hard for only one reason. Everybody getting just the motherfucking season.
I can make it to a star. I can make it someone everybody loves. I can make it so the media, everyone that you only want to hit you with applause. Oh God, this beat goes hard. I can make it #1 on every chart. I can push you up the ladder. I can make it better. I can give you Grammy nomination and awards. Oh God, I can make it to a star. I can make you someone everybody loves. I can make it so the media, everyone that see you only want to hit you with applause. Oh God, this beat goes hard. I can make it #1 on every chart. I can put you on the ladder. I can make it better. I can give you Grammy nomination and awards.
And you're waiting, what is boy damn perpetrating? Delaying the payments, my rules make your body flip around like a cadence. Lord can't save you, regulate your behavior. If your body gonna change by the labels. I'm Thanksgiving, sucking turkeys with anthrax. Put the coke up in a package. Y'all niggas ain't real rappers. Multiply the money on my factor. I don't need a plan for the casket. I'm a straight savage. I don't ever ask it unless it's the actress. The president and the actor. Shorty finna catch his gag on the back of a melon. Everybody wanna take it with the case selling. You won't need a password to come into my dwelling. How you on the track? All the police can't smell you. I don't recognize and you look up a million. If you don't have on the beat, they don't wanna see a seat. I don't wanna be low-key, I can never be discreet. Cause the bullet got in my brain since I was a kid. And a man with a vision can achieve anything. All the motherfuckers things give me vision good to see. And I heard angels sing, so I'm thoughts psychedelics. And the only thing in my way was standing in the mirror. I ain't never give a fuck about a true nigga. Where you at, nigga? I be pulling up when you not, nigga. With your side hole in the cat, nigga. See me at the show, you gotta give me that, nigga. Everybody know I'm that nigga. Know where you at, nigga. Nigga, motherfucking season. Where is you when niggas they believe it? Rated Black Star, Julius Caesar. Just a tip, yeah, this is the teaser.
I can make it to a star. I can make it someone everybody loves. I can make it so the media, everyone that you only want to hit you with applause. Oh God, this beat goes hard.
I'm not letting these people fuck my day up. I'm having a great day. Fuck these assholes.
Nomination and awards. Oh God, I can make it to a star. I can make it
How
someone everybody
stupid
loves.
do you have to be white and act like white is right in a black neighborhood and then pretend you didn't know you were surrounded by black people? Stupid. Yeah, you're real supreme, right? Oh, I know I just called you a dirty half-breed nigger, but I didn't know you were really a dirty half-breed nigger. I mean, like, shit, I didn't know. It's not really racist if I didn't know. So worried about being called racist. All you are is racist. What do you care if people call you racist? What do you care? You care more about going to hell than being racist.
Remember you was younger, cool when you was older. Now you fucked up and you working on the yard just to get another bag for your guy.
Are you gonna hit me? My hands are full of groceries and money. Why the fuck would I hit you? Oh, because I'm a dirty half-breed nigger and we hit white women. Of course, statistically, white men hit women the most. statistically. Like what I just said, we'll change up the statistics.
I can make it someone everybody loves. I can make it for the media, everyone in media only wanna hit you with applause. Oh God, this beat goes hard. I can make it number one on every chart. I can put you on the ladder. I can make it better. I can give you nomination and awards. Oh God, I can make it to the star. I can make it someone everybody loves.
It's like gay police officers. They want all the police officers to be gay because they're following this Roman policy. Oh, to make them more loyal. It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all, but that's what they're doing. When you tell them you know they're gay because they're a police officer, they go, oh, no, that's not real. That's gay agenda shit from YouTube. That's not real. How'd you know the keyword? People are jokes. You're clowns. You're clowns. I tell jokes. You people are jokes. You're jokes, brethren. This guy. What's your problem, B? Anyways, don't get fancy style. You're not only man. I got these too. I just wanna party, I don't wanna lie. I just wanna party, I don't wanna lie. I just wanna party, I don't wanna lie. Fucking Friday night, where the fuck is everybody? I just wanna party, I don't wanna lie. Where you at? Hit me up with the money, with a stack. Do the imported Belgian ones. No, we here. These last me 10 days. Put it in, flip it quick, get it back. Hit me up. With my niggas in the room, cleaning up, I know you told me before you have sickle cell, and I'm more educated than you because I rubbed that in your face. That's how I got this job. I don't know what sickle cell means. Only black people get it, but I can't equate what that means. It means I'm black, stupid. But you're pretending not to know. You're pretending not to know as you're calling me a nigger. I know. Proof positive is racism? Only white people do this. No other group of people does it. No other race does that to me. Only white people. Just got off the plane, juice all in my veins, 6 buzzing my name, no one out these flames, fucking Friday night, I ain't playing no games. I don't think I've had a black person call me white in my entire fucking life. I can't think of it ever happening. Just raise the speed, they call it, but they can't get a hold of me. This beat up Friday, BET, raise the bar for the scene. If the work ain't clean, don't come for me. They show up before, but they wanna come around. I'ma ride this wave, but don't wanna run out. I'ma start this place to the fire burn out. Bunch of crusty them. Chip the crusty, chip the crusty. I don't wanna lie. Fucking Friday night, where the fuck is everybody? I just wanna party, I don't wanna lie. I just wanna party, I don't wanna lie. I just wanna party, I don't wanna lie. Fucking Friday night, where the fuck is everybody? I just wanna party, I don't wanna lie. Oh yeah, I'm thinking ahead. So for $5, I got my apple juice, with 5 pounds of sugar and the milk. I'm gonna go through that sugar in one day. I buy one of those every day to all these cans of them. But I ain't paying sales tax on rolling papers. Get the fuck out of here, Tito. Raise no quitter, just like a fan on Twitter. Get my props just like a favorite time. So if you with me, get your goddamn hands up. Right, listen in, teach you some discipline. The ABSTRAKT again. The rep can fit on. Don't come out with the jokes. Real gangsters packing on Iron Man. They call me Star. The verbal bar. Y'all sound like kids. Blow your mind all the time with a freestyle. Oh yeah, I'm bringing all those receipts to the CRA. Covered in Corona and cockroach shit and everything. Oh, you want my receipts now? What about the first 20 years? But I'll do it regardless of whether my dreams are hopeless. So, lose focus. No HD. Do it for hip hop, so thank God for my ABCs. Yeah. When the stores get robbed, don't talk shit about how you gave us a job. You gave us a job, no jobbing. I don't give a fuck. You end up almost sobbing. Crabbing, getting fucking run in by gangsters on the block when you running. You think you got diplomatic race and I say your face? Not today, homie, no way. Oh, I'm a diplomat. Yeah, I'm dipset too, whatever. I used to rap after that. Big pun, hey, boom, boom. Right? You don't know what you're fucking with, right? I'm in charge of this. I got a piece of paper. I'm letting you spread the virus. I'm letting you. And when they track down the epicenters and you get fucking charged and sued, oh, that'll be on you. Super clean white people. Super clean white people. I don't need a mask. Oh, you spit in my face, I got shit. I think you do need a mask. I think you need a spit shield, but you need. The hood, you want to act like animals, they treat it like animal? Oh, but they're constantly saying these things to me. They're not looking down at me as an animal, but they're saying these things to me. That's funny. That's a funny coincidence. Or come back over and over. I don't know what you are. I don't know what you are. But I told you the last 3 times what I am, and stop saying those things to me. But you don't know what I am. Okay. Yeah. I know what you are. I can smell your pussy from here. That's genetic, man.
Alright, well, if you haven't caught on yet, you should know that I terrorize like a wall. Putting in work my soul heart into every line and awful.
Did I drop a piece? No, I don't think so. It's not a piece.
Give you a sample of what you can handle. And if you want to gamble, get burnt like a candle. The skill level's ample, my stampede will trample. It's Halloween and I got the goods. Come get a handful.
I'm the candy man. Yeah, I'm racist for noticing these things. These assholes will yell at him. Oh, you're a racist. You're the only white guy standing here. You sure you want to yell that? You shut up after I said that. Oh, I must sound like a horrible fucking stereotype sometimes. Yeah, I hear these things from these people, man. I don't make this shit up. What do I do? Look at the videos. Alibi right there. I never had an OE till last week. You want stereotypes? Can't stand white girls. You want to talk stereotypes? Oh, because they're labeling you with a stereotype. The racist black. Oh, you think he's black? Okay, he's black then fine, but he's the racist black guy. The one that hates us all for no reason. No, you all give me a reason.
Because killing you
simple. I come at you with a pencil, screaming danger with a razor, laugh at your block, laugh at you while I run you off your block. If my grandfather blocked 19, COVID-19, Jonathan Bacon, and me gonna die the same fucking way, because we walk around doing the same thing. I don't give a fuck, I bought things right in the cop's face. What they gonna do nothing, everyone basically gonna just spray with their kids. Everything is okay, so you have to help.
Be caressed by my ghost, I'll get you any way I can, whether you wake or asleep. Just wanna see you die before I'm fucking dead in the streets.
It's on now, we can hear the murders on mic. All you fakes perpetrating, living lies in your life. All the buster ass kids in the trap claiming skill. Hit by the gun and we'll make sure you die for the bills. It's on now, we can hear the murders on mic. All you fakes perpetrating, living lies in your life. All the buster ass kids in the trap claiming skill. Live by the guns, we'll make sure you die for the bills.
I don't snatch chains like overthrows. I don't steal trailers, I steal bones. I don't.
Not one of these fake niggas gonna grab you by the shoulder. I will crush your Adam's apple while I bounce your head off the concrete. I don't care if it's a wall or the floor or a steel pole. Your head will go bang, 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 over and over. It's not a game. Don't throw punches. I told niggas up bridges.
I got enough to provide for all the haters that duck and hide. The quickest on the slide, go make sure your two legs tied and stay inside. A bullet hitting the temple, but battery should be elemental. Excuse me, keeping me down, you're not consumed by thinking of ways to fuck up your dental.
I am the last Boy Scout.
It's on now, we can hear the murders on mic.
Except when you're more, all you pussy hoes gonna get run out of town. You running shit down. You running it down in the brown town to downtown, getting shot in the west end. you're not your best friend.
All the busted ass kids in the trap and skill. Live by the guns to make sure you die for the bills. I'm a rapist with words, skillfully diligent words. Hater shank and they tongue through the thick of they shirt. Perfected linguist with the money.
And the whole fucking time I'm dealing with these assholes, I got a dirty fucking
give a
knife in
shit.
my
So
pocket.
cynically simple, that's forgiveness to be. But
They really think that they know when I have it, when I don't, and most often when they think I don't have it. So when they see me digging up some garbage and shit, they flip, oh, he's got a knife, call the cops. Yeah, I got a knife. I had a knife yesterday when we were acting like an idiot too. Oh, he knocked on my door, call the cops. I swear to God that happened like a week ago. So now I smashed on the wall next to his door. I didn't touch the door. I slammed the door next to his door. He can't complain about that. He propped it open.
It's all now. We committed murders on life. All you fakes perpetrating, living lies in your life. All the busted ass kids in the trap in the skill. Live by the guns to make sure you die for the bills. It's all now. We committed murders on life. All you fakes perpetrating, living lies in your life. All the busted ass kids in the trap in the skill.
I live in a crack tower in a crack neighborhood. It's a crack empire. One of the best tenants. The horseback white bitches start working here a year ago, starting with me. Keep starting. I'll cut the rent off till she's gone. What you gonna do? Make COVID go away to get your money? It ain't gonna happen, Frederick. These spaghetti vendors ain't dealing too good with that, eh? Hey, Vincenzo, how's your grandmother? She got the cough. These neuf. Yeah, these Italianos speak French. Go figure. These neuf, motherfucker. These neuf. Comment est ton grand-mère, ton grand-père, monsieur? Où est ton mère et père, Vincenzo? Où est ton mère et père, Vincenzo? These neuf. These neuf. You want to piss somebody off? Throw coins at them.
Can't change it for an instant.
You're going to charge you with assault and throw money at you.
Trying to step in our way, man. Your ass will get popped. Got homies on every corner.
There's a guy throwing money at me.
Here comes the end of your life. Hollow points cutting through you like the edge of a knife. It's getting harder to see. Step away from the light, cause I'm the devil in disguise. I stole your soul tonight. What?
I stole your soul tonight. I'm the devil in disguise. I stole your soul tonight. I stole your soul tonight. I'm the devil in disguise. I stole your soul tonight. I stole your soul tonight. I'm the devil in disguise.
I don't feel sorry for nobody right now. I see these idiots running around like idiots. Then they get sick. Then they get yelled at by somebody. You look like a dog that just got yelled at.
Inside, mixed with the pain that you feel. Hear the voices calling out another soul to conceal. You see the tears in the eyes, that's what's causing the pain. Staring at yourself blindly, can't remember the name. Call me
the white guy standing in the lobby did not get told nothing about standing there. I come in the door and I'm getting cussed off for standing. I'm just standing around, eh? You know them niggers, they just hang around, eh?
The possessor of souls, I be the
chilling,
devil in disguise, the possessor of souls.
What's the white dude doing? Coughing in people's faces. Oh, he's okay.
The devil in disguise, the possessor of souls.
These people spread this shit on purpose. We've been down there 6 weeks doing this. I'm getting yelled at now. I've been saying for 6 fucking weeks. Why are these people here?
Another light in the dark. Hear the footsteps in the night. Now your ass is in shock. Go ahead and hide. Try to make no sound. I know your every thought and action, so you're bound to be found. I'm getting closer.
Here's the deal. The version of the virus I got gonna mutate.
The only person you fear.
It's gonna be bad. My immune system's strong. It's gonna be bad. You really want the version I got? Because you think you're tough. If you didn't get it yet, you'll get the version I got, buddy. Keep coming close.
The only person you fear will be the devil in disguise. The only person you fear. What? Yeah, the only person you fear. Devil in disguise. The only person you fear. Make control of your life. I'm the voice in your pain. I'm the hate in your heart and the sin in your brain. I'm the death of your dreams and the loss of your life. I'm the tempted thought of slicing your wrist with a knife. There's no escaping the voice. No turning the time. Your soul is already lost. And I'm making it mine. I'm the devil in disguise. I can take up any form. I'm the feeling of fear when you're feeling alone. Yeah. You are unclean spirit. In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. It is he who commands you. He who gives you strength from heaven. The stone of hell. Fucking restore. Fucking get from the street.
Even this recycling thing, these people patting themselves on the back for bringing in all this glass. It costs money to recycle glass.
The Holy Spirit.
The aluminum pays for itself. It wasn't the aluminum cans they didn't want in the blue bin, it was the glass by weight. Yeah, a 10-cent can is 15 grams. A 10-cent or 20-cent glass bottle is a pound. You can weigh it. My scale won't even go up that high, so we can't weigh it.
You cutting heads off. You worried if you cut from the same cloth. You was playing Game Boy, niggas was playing Game Gods. Niggas melly rock on your block.
There's vacuum pumping out the sanitary sewers along Dundas. Oh yeah, they're doing some of the work.
The stuff top, metal like crayons, turning them heat rays on. They paid on debts.
They did the storm sewers, they're doing the sanitary sewers. It's perfect. It's exactly what I need to
new
have.
houses that's on the shore. But my lawyer gotta study evidence in the court. Two-door sport in the court, playing these greasy loops. After every time I shoot, that ski mask turn to a
I can't work on sanitary sewers. I don't have the fucking rebreathers.
P89 and that barrel slide is too cute. Hit up in the dome when he tried ducky. Still better than just standing there and trying nothing. Kill them little pups, I'm a G-Dog. I have him in the streets playing leapfrog. American muscle over a Tesla. Pulling out the bulldog apart like a pretzel. Let me tell you how I feel. You niggas ain't real. That shot ate your food like a meal. Let me tell you how I feel. You niggas ain't real. That shot ate your food like a meal.
Hold on, let me get some pimpin'. Fuck you think you're doing? I pull up in a Buick, blast this music. You know how we do it. Like Montel Jordan and these Jordans. All these bitches is swarming. Still I ignore. Cause all these girls boring. Anytime I come through, making girls get abortions. Charlie, you know me. Rolling in a Harley with Shorty.
I just hope you got the 40. 20 niggas in their clothing, that's what we learned. You should hear the arrogant names these niggas were called. And that bitch was on clock. Before Asian or a dream, we had a battery dog. Fuck them all, middle fingers for law. We ain't with the blase blah. Hopping out of a car. Always asking them what's up with
So I get to the grocery store, and there's a cart with a quarter in it, so of course I fucking return it and get the quarter. I have to. Even if I don't need the quarter, it's my autism. It's not OCD, it's autism. Because I don't care how smashed up the cart goes in. It doesn't have to be bright up, but I have to get that quarter out. And I got another 2006 Bravery with the maple leaf.
That shot ate your food like a meal. I know that they were finished, they came with 3 rounds. Straight up out of G-Town, trains going eastbound. They used to talk about all these niggas, they know it's me now.
Basically celebrates Afghanistan,
that's how we
but it's
rebound. F14, she gets brony. AR pays me, trade bars, we the hardest up in these streets now. You best not trespass here, baby, just keep out. We ain't fuck around with the steering if we gon' wheel out. You ain't got the metaphor, nigga, that's when that skill out. Big clock, big shot, knocking all of your teeth out. By now you know they all got heat. They got no bars, but all got beats. Trap music.
It's Don't Get Close. It's Raw Dog. You know it. Yeah, we ain't getting man. Capping his dead, capping his back.
Oh, I gotta check my email.
We on the Mac, hop on the whip, using the max. 40 with 30s, you do the math.
I get money tomorrow, but it might be there today. And yeah, I'm still gonna go to the beer store tomorrow. Even if there's money in the bank, I have to return these aluminum cans. Turn them into a ventilator.
Niggas on my dick, so I hit him with the verse. Clientele link, gotta hit him with the work. I just block shit, gets on my nerves. Left the band though, I'll be back on the first. Don't get close, no, I won't get girt. Run up with a frown, walk off with a smirk. Line put him down, send him to the nurse. Shorty got fast, tell me what is yours worth. Mine for the block, came straight from the dirt.
and even with this money coming in, I just want to know how much it is. 300 and something. It's like, but what is the something?
Sesame Street, whip turn a trip to a treat. I don't got friends, man, I only got feet. Capping his dead, capping his back. 40s and 5s, beam on the Mac. Hop out the whip, using the max. 40 with 30s, you do the math. Hey, nigga said he wanna kill me, nigga. I'm right here, nigga. Hey, we don't kill you, Toy Story, bust right here, nigga. Capping his head, capping his back. 40s and 5s, beam on the Mac. Hop out the whip, using the max. 40s with 30s, you do the math. Hey, nigga said he wanna kill me, nigga. I'm right here, nigga. Hey, we don't kill you, Toy Story, bust right here, nigga.
I have apple juice, and it came in a dented tin, and it was made in Toronto, and it's not from concentrate. And the steel will probably get melted down in Hamilton and turn back into another fucking aluminum steel fucking apple juice can. The only problem with these is remembering which one is the open one, because there's no fucking cover for this. You gotta hide these. I'd like some more of those tomorrow. And another thing is sugar. I was stuck up. You have no idea. I'm fucked with that. All my friends run fucking convenience stores out of their houses.
The mind of a lunatic, the mind of a native who ain't giving up, a native who don't give a fuck, a native with the screw, but ain't a fucking screw up. I have a few scruples and most people don't. I'm a crazy little bastard, full-blown criminal, savage through and through. For my warrior, I have known the game that I was shown. I keep to my own. I got an ill temper and a very short fuse. The patience that I got, you don't want me to lose. I'm known to blow up. I'm known for destruction. I'm known for the wicked. The wickedness of the blood in my veins. And the way they'll never change. I'm slowly going insane. She keeps fucking with my brain. I'm lost in the sauce. I'm on my way out. I'm from a small town.
Gonna stop because you all puppets like Rover and Elmo. Did you catch these 100 hot get tested today?
I'm romping and rolling and romping. This hut boy hustle shit ain't no one stopping. The mind of a killer, the mind of a maniac, the mind of a lunatic, the mind of a native who ain't giving up, a native who don't give a fuck, a native with the screws, but ain't a fucking screw. I got the mind of a killer, the mind of a maniac, the mind of a lunatic, the mind of a native who ain't giving up, a native who don't give a fuck, a native with the screws, but ain't a fucking screw.
There's a reason they don't pull them out of the line at the factory. Eh? They know they're dented. Hey, boss, should we pull that one up? Hey, son, you're new here. We let those ones go out. If they come back, they come back, but they don't ever come back.
Okay.
We put those out there for the special people. Quite frankly, I don't need all this paper. I just need it to say apple juice. It doesn't even say that. Just say AJ. I don't know what that is. I know where it came from. I can walk there. We make rubber gloves in this neighborhood. We brew beer in this neighborhood. We make cigarettes in this neighborhood. We grow weed in this neighborhood. We make truck transmissions. We make everything here, brethren. Oh, GM closed the factory. Blah, 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 blah. Don't worry. We're going to keep it rolling, dog. I don't want to buy a GM anyway.
Damn, my crew is tough, just like some others who cook stuff. What are you saying? You're bumping your name or fitting your rhymes. Fuck around once more and you're gonna find
it doesn't matter with apple juice, but with some things you flip them more. Every so often you flip them over.
Because it makes me trip into lust. And when I do murder, you trust me, and it's just because I want your flesh.
You bring it home and stick it upside down. The next time you move them, you flip them right side up. But when you open it, you flip it right side up. It don't matter what the apple juice for, some things it matters. Gotta listen to the news. Got to. We'll listen from the top of the hour onwards.
They told me them Wicks and niggas is better than me. They told me them G-Way niggas is better than me. They told me them Reacher niggas is better than me. Got this devil in me. I don't see my enemies in months away. Mother Nature had a child today. Product of environments and alleyways. Like why these rappers wanna blame me? There's something more dick than Sam G. I had to give it to him. Yeah, I had to give it to him. About 5 times my drama made the notes in my videos. Won't get 100,000s of views on the south side. I recognize the G-Way, Regent Park, and Southside Jane. That's where the demons walk. Rifle barrel by the meter long. Tears in your eyes when you see your mom. Let the boys not free, but open freedom come. Go against me, some Mac versus BB gun. You didn't think we gon' throw some shots? Fuck niggas. Say vodka, bitch. This is a Mac 10, B. Fuck's wrong with him?
What's wrong with him?
That Netflix you with Down syndrome. They're like 5 foot nothing. Some more, they better watch out. Get slapped down, survive a shot, then my nigga swinging back round, then you gon' and then I'm at call ring, and it's fully automatic. Them niggas just so melodramatic, call ring, and it's fully automatic. Them niggas just so melodramatic.
Old man at the bear starts saving the rain today. Yeah,
niggas suspicious trips that they mostly hoes. Making them kick rocks and open toes. I rock your roads. Try and take us for no poppy show. 50,000 views gon' gas them up like Escalades. The best of days.
They're pumping out the sanitary sewers along Dundas right now. Storm sewers are basically cleared at the top. The stuff in the waste, the catch stations don't matter. It's all the condoms and fucking baby wipes and shit. The blocks of fucking sewers. And nothing really blocks them 100%, but every time you restrict the flow, you fucking up more.
Just remember where Scarborough your hood's from. These niggas looking like pom-pom. Some boy, they better watch out. Get slapped down, survive a shot, then my niggas swinging back round, then you gon' and then I'm at call ring, and it's fully automatic. Them niggas just so melodramatic, call ring, and it's fully automatic. Them niggas just so melodramatic. Some boy, they better watch out. Get slapped down, then you gon' and then I'm at call ring, and then I'm at call ring. Them niggas is so melodramatic.
2 of these, 2.1 liters, $3.40. 1.89 liters, $3.89 in plastic. You think you're saving money when you buy the small packages. You think you're saving money when you buy the small packages. You
already know what it is. CTMMG.
Got it for the low, got it for the low. What you really do, I got all the snow. Come right out the boat, come right out the boat. Come right out the boat, come right out the boat. This year you already know. I feel like I've been the GOAT. I know I can hold my own. I know I can hold my own. All I know that crime pay. I'ma get it one day. I'm cruising down the highway.
Oh, yes.
All I know that crime
The funds are all commingled. I don't know what I sold, bought, and traded for these cans anymore. I unitized them all. I concatenated them and unitized them.
They never lived it. I've been gunning for them 7
And now
days.
it's just cash.
Back with a
You can't take all of it.
Switch, and I'ma get this chick.
And you can't
Crowd
say you
pays
get
us
some of
my
it.
way.
So.
Try to tell them, but they never listen.
Sorry, Mr. Revenue Age, Mr. Indian Age, fuck the cops, fuck the
How they
cops,
wanna get
what
their
he
lips
say?
wet. All these bitches used to try to sweat me, now I'm flexing on them with this pimp set.
Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be done drinking Texas Mickey's and well, Sean John. I'm gonna stay out here with my dollar store bandanas. My aluminum and stainless steel jewelry. You do it to my $1 polo shirts and my jail issue, government issue jumpsuit. I don't know, the it's real Rockaway, but I didn't take any pay for it. So. I would, it's a good jacket. I've had it 10 years. I don't know how long Buddy had it before me. Stay in your house, stay in your house, stay in your house, stay in your house, stay in your house.
If I die before I wake, pray the Lord my soul to take. If I die before I wake, pray the Lord my soul to take. I can't sleep, these nightmares are real. Gotta keep both hands on the wheel.
Yeah, so we timed this source prioritizing, had to prioritize. Prioritize, and we did. I assume somebody is cleaning up some of them sometimes, because some of them will get clogged up a second time and some of them aren't. And some of them I can see the dirt that it's swept aside days and weeks later, and other ones it looks like it's been swept away.
They want to see me with my hands out begging for funds. They ain't gonna see that shit cause I really make runs. They saying that they got to get the job done. And when my crew come, they ain't gonna say no more in the
3,000 kilos of weed right there.
Deceased from head to toe. They ain't gonna breathe no more. Ain't gonna see no tree. Ain't no more paradise down here. It's only
easily 3. You get like 1,000 kilos
no
I've
more
ever seen.
down here.
Really
I ain't showing no fear. I gotta ride for my other side, and they gotta ride for me, cause they gotta say that they'll die for me. They gotta shine for me. If I shine on my own, then fuck, they won't lie for me. They won't lie for me. They won't die for me. I'm in this, but haters ain't gonna shine with me. They ain't shining with me because I put them all in the past. I told all these haters cut them off and all to kiss my ass. Haters don't love it. I ball just like Nash, saying that they want a ball, throwing bins in the trash. I'ma hit it up like fuck you haters. I gotta see it later, like fucking adding up my stacks with the calculator. Saying that they want to break something just like Braver. I'ma be braver than you.
This is 680 News, Toronto. Here are James Monroe and Slajana Dominzik.
Good afternoon, it's Tuesday, April 7th.
Here's what's breaking news right now.
Made in Ontario solutions to the COVID-19 crisis.
I personally picked up the first batch of medical masks.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford says today is better than yesterday. Breaking news from the city is recalling more than 60,000 protective masks distributed to long-term care homes because they don't meet standards.
The Prime Minister says thousands of companies in Canada are signing up to help produce medical supplies, including face masks, gowns, and up to
30,000 ventilators.
Oh, yeah,
Major League Baseball could head west to
You
Arizona
think we
as a
did the same things the
quarantine
Americans
location.
did.
Alex
The Americans let their factories fall apart and
And
get
the
turned
start
into
of the
crack
CFL
houses and shit.
season
I
has
don't
been
know. Our
postponed.
factories are still
Sports
here.
15.
They got artists living in them and shit.
Closing into the steam as we enter the last
The machinery's all over the fucking country. We got things stashed everywhere. We got full hospitals locked down, just sitting there with all the equipment. Oh yeah, on paper they don't know where it is, but it's there, and we can make use of it.
By St. Louis Bar and Grill.
We're not
We have
supposed
a
to
new
know about
problem
that.
on the 401 westbound. It's just west of the 427 and the
Okay, the equipment's 10 or 20 years old now, but it's brand new
There is a heavy
for
tow on
20
the
years.
scene, and
Never
just a
been
minor
used.
slowdown here on the westbound 401, just past the 427 and the express.
We got
so be careful
Quonset
here.
huts
Make sure
way
you're
to
in the
fuck out in
left-hand
the
lane.
prairies.
Eastbound on the 401, haven't spotted
We're
any
collectors
problems
of
along that route.
purchase
MTO is
dozens of
reporting some
vehicles from
maintenance.
particular
Eastbound
model years
401
and
at
just
Huron,
store them.
Ontario, and the collectors in the right lane, so just be careful. They're not sure if they're still on the
Dude
scene.
emptied out a
On
collection
the
from
QEW
99.
eastbound, east
2
of
years
Dixie,
ago,
that
a year ago.
construction has wrapped up. So all lanes getting through, but we still have this lane blocked on the
99
westbound
F-150,
QEW at
0
Winston
kilometers
Churchill.
on
Left
it.
lane closed. That's all for some ongoing road work, but no delays. Northbound on the 410, just before the 401 and the
No
express. So as you're coming
delays.
off the eastbound 403 onto the 410, the HOV and the left lane closed for construction. It is slowly but surely clearing away. And southbound on the 410, south of Derry, the HOV lane, that's closed off for some construction. And on city streets in Brampton, just getting word of a crash at Tompkin and Advance, which is south of Steeles. So expect some lanes blocked there as emergency crews respond. St. Louis Bar and Grill thanks you for supporting local businesses, including your local St. Louis restaurant, through takeout and delivery. Their deepest gratitude goes to the first responders keeping us all safe. And now with a look at the forecast, Natasha, I'm watching the sky get darker and darker as the clouds roll in.
I'm gonna go like
Yeah, I
8
just
days in a
wanted to
row
look
and
at
cash
you,
out
okay, so,
exactly
don't tell you
$15
and worry
every
you.
fucking
It's not a whole
time.
lot of rain that's coming, but it's going to start here in a few hours. Already raining out through
Just
the
to
west
fuck with
end
them
of
on the
Lake
last
Ontario.
load, I'm gonna have 2 dozen different types of bottles, but it's gonna total
But
exactly
overnight tonight,
15.
we're going to get into
I'm
that
gonna do
3
this
to 6
just to fuck with
millimeters
their
of
heads.
rain, and then some drizzle lingering until about noon, 1 o'clock. After that, we'll get back into sunshine with a high of 14 degrees. Tonight, we're dropping to a low of 6 degrees. Right now, it is 14 degrees at Pearson.
And we're not gonna have no shit water, back flooding in the West End. It's not gonna happen.
Premier Ford showing up at a Woodbridge manufacturing facility today where the first 1,000 protective masks have been produced.
Yeah, the city workers do the leaves off the tops of the
62,000
thing.
masks that were sent to
But it's
long-term
private
care homes
contractors
recently.
that do the
More on
fucking
that in a
vacuum
moment, but
truck.
first,
Those are privately owned. The city doesn't own one of those.
Ontario solution, Mark.
Why would the city own one? They use it once a year at
The
best.
spread of COVID-19, the Premier of Ontario is praising those made in Ontario solutions.
And earlier today, I personally picked up the first batch of medical
Black
masks
Wall Street,
made right here in
motherfucker.
Ontario by Woodbridge
The
Group.
Mexican that picks these
These
buys
masks
weed
will
off
be
my
made here
brother.
in the millions.
And those masks made in Vaughan are meant to
Eddie
be
grew at my
certified
uncle's
as
apple farm, blah, 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 blah. It's a
N95
nice little
masks.
circle.
That's the kind that recently
Next to
saw
the dairy
US,
farm and
Canada,
the scrap
3M
yard and the
getting into a
nuclear
bit of a
power
pissing
plant.
contest at the border
Yeah, don't
export
fuck with
issue.
that either.
Premier Doug Ford says while getting the 3M issue resolved is a great step forward, he still says we cannot rely on other countries.
And just a message to the folks out there that want to volunteer or have a product, we will get to you. And it's just the sheer volume. It's amazing how the
You're not
people
gonna like what I
and
can
the
supply,
businesses in
Mr.
this
Ford,
community
but I
in
can
Ontario
supply it.
just stepped up and
In that regard,
How about I
Ford
just
says
do it
today
and
is
not
better
tell
than
you? And
yesterday,
people will have
but
more
Ford will
money to
still
spend
not
on other
commit to a
things.
timeline for making Ontario self-sufficient for supplies to fight the crisis, as he had promised earlier. Ford says N95 and
Little
surgical masks
bastard
are still
sticks.
the greatest challenge. Reporting live,
Bastard
I'm Mark
sticks.
Douglas. Quick breaking news from the city. It's recalling protective masks that were distributed to staff at long-term care homes that do not meet the standards. The city says it discovered yesterday. Recently purchased order of 62,000 were distributed a week and a
Why are
half
you
ago.
buying such large
And
amounts
they
if you don't know the
received reports of
supplier?
working
What's
at
wrong
Terry
with you?
Health and safety staff
You learn
to
nothing from
masks.
busting
Ordered
drug
orders
dealers
of
you
the
didn't
standard.
watch?
They're being returned, and the city will get a full refund of $200,000. And they're trying to figure out how many employees in its
maybe.
long-term care homes were caring for patients while wearing the items and if there was possible exposure to COVID-19.
But ask yourself this, the people refunding the money, where are they getting that money from? Who did they rip off to get that money? There's something not right there. How did you do business with these people?
As concerns grow about shortages of items like masks, gowns, and hand sanitizer, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says 5,000 companies across the country have answered the federal call and offered to start producing millions of these much-needed items. Companies such as Canada Goose, Stanfield's, and many breweries and distilleries. Trudeau says the feds have also landed a deal with several health companies to produce up to 30,000 ventilators.
We know that creating these is going to be extremely important to be able to handle the future paths of this epidemic.
But the government's still looking outside our borders for equipment, receiving a shipment of 8 million surgical masks from China yesterday, and it's expecting more from 3M after the company struck a deal with the Trump administration to continue exports to Canada.
500,000 masks from 3M tomorrow, and we're working as fast as we can to get them to our frontline workers.
All of a sudden it's
more than 960,000 Canadians successfully applied for the new emergency response benefit. Hundreds of thousands of more are expected throughout the week. Cormac makes 20 Parliament Hill.
The latest data on the spread reveals the province's nursing homes are bearing the brunt of the deadly virus. Here's 6 City's Irene Precklett.
Ontario
but it looks like you're spreading it to them on purpose.
379 new cases of COVID-19 today, including 21 more deaths. Of the 153 total deaths, at least 69 have been at long-term care homes. The number of outbreaks at long-term care homes has climbed to 51. NDP leader Andrea Horwath says the government should be doing more right away.
Aggressively recruiting home care and long-term care staff.
Different website address.
Mandating that more staff be scheduled on each shift in each long-term care home. Immediately increasing salaries for staff to a minimum of $22 per hour.
She's also calling on limiting the number of facilities a person can work at to 1 so the virus is not spread. I'm Irene Precklett. You're with All News Radio, 680 News.
You didn't think of that already as a serious possible issue? Hazard analysis and critical control points.
She joins us with that.
But the number of COVID-19 cases continuing
The guy
to
that
rise.
cooks fries at the
Mayor
McDonald's is
Patrick Brown
supposed to
says
think of
now
this
is the
shit.
time to allow doctors who got their medical training outside of Canada to be able to take part in the fight against this pandemic, saying we should follow the lead of places that have already made this type of exception.
If New York and New Jersey can do this, why can't we in Ontario and Canada?
Provincial Health Minister Christine Elliott says the province is putting out the call for anyone with medical training, be it retired doctors and nurses, students, and yes, foreign-trained doctors, to step up and help out.
They may or may not, depending on their skill sets, their experience, and so on, be able
Don't do
to
it thinking they're going to give you
practice
recognition.
medicine,
They won't. These assholes will
within our
never,
healthcare
ever
system.
recognize
As the
what's
Premier
right
said,
in
we
front
do
of
need
them.
all hands on deck at this point.
If you have medical training and want to help out, the province has put up an online portal where you can let them know.
You're really a
I'm on
doctor in your
correction.
heart. It ain't about
And it has been the
recognition.
deadliest day so far in New York State,
I
but there
don't
are
think you're
signs the
helping
outbreak
nobody.
could be
I think you're
leveling
helping
off.
people
6 City's
die.
Cam Door joins us live.
Just walking them to death.
Experts
I don't see
say
anything.
New York just a day away from hitting its peak, but after a single-day high of 731 deaths,
They're like
Governor
animals in a
Cuomo
cage,
is
these
saying
zombies.
realistic.
You take one away and they don't notice that there's one missing. You take another one away and they don't notice. They don't see it.
For the families who are suffering, they're not getting numb.
I see a whole shitload of people gone from the neighborhood. They're not in their houses, they're gone from the neighborhood.
California's peak still at least 10 days away. More than 2,000 staff. Meanwhile, in Michigan, from the state's 2 largest healthcare providers, have been infected. Meanwhile, Nancy Pelosi says the man appointed to watch over the $2 trillion coronavirus emergency fund has been fired by President Trump.
And the president thinks he should be the one, and that's exactly upside down. So this is really a problem.
Yeah, there was 3 left
this
at the
afternoon.
other
Nobody
dollar
out
store,
alive. The
so
man
I
was
took
fired.
them.
We'll have the latest right here on 680 News.
Everything they have left is product of France, product of the United States, product of Brazil. But I got all the Canadian shit right here.
5 times a day on your radio,
680news.com.
What's that mean? It means the motherfucker that works here eats the same stuff that I eat,
And in times of uncertainty, we can take
has the same health care.
those that we care about, our family, our friends, and those in our community are safe and are practicing physical distancing and staying at home. At my firm, I've
Anyway, this is
encouraged staff
Canada.
to work from home and to follow the guidelines to staying safe. I know
Oh, with
these
the
are
establishment
difficult times,
number, which is
but
also
we can
printed
take
on the
this moment to
can. So
reflect on
again,
how
what do
much
I
we
need
have
this
to be
piece of
grateful
paper for?
I
Is
wish
this
you
to
and
start a
your family
fire
only
so I can
peace
cook it?
and good health.
It's already cooked, sir. It's like I'm on holiday. And it's time for luncheon.
Around town, John is closed north of Queen because of a broken water main, and in Brampton there's a collision on Tompkins south of Steeles.
That's the shit I'm talking about. All that water has to go somewhere. And when your sump pump turns on, where do you think that water goes? Out into the street to the storm sewers. Oh, that's a problem. That's a problem, isn't it? Now, you see the potential issue now? So we did over 200 fucking sewer covers. I think we got all the important ones because I got all the ones I walked past on the regular. And it's a redundant system. It's a very redundant system. So what everything I did wasn't necessary until next year. But what if I can't do it next year? They told us 18 to 24 months. And I can't do nothing about the sanitary sewers. They're going to have to pump them again next year. They have to pump those every fucking year.
These public services are integral to a vibrant and prosperous.
Oh, they got the inspector trucks out. Again, private companies. They're dropping cameras down pipes.
You can support them by visiting yourcityto.ca. A message from the Canadian Union of Public Employees.
680 News Time 311.
The work is being done.
This report is brought to you by
It will not be interrupted. The assembly line will keep running red.
East of Avenue Road in the collectors. The right lane blocked by MTO crews. It's because of a stalled vehicle on the right shoulder. There's no delays, so be careful here. Eastbound 401, east of Avenue Road in the collectors.
So be careful.
Westbound on the 401, that stalled truck west of the 427 and the Express, that got towed away pretty quickly. And only a minor slowdown here westbound 401 as you head past the 427 and the
tow truck drivers, they were shooting at each other over the business, over their turf 3 months ago, and now there's no fucking business left.
Not any backup as a result of that lane restriction. Just be careful. Watch out for those crews that are working. They've wrapped up the construction on the eastbound QEW east of Dixie, so all lanes getting through. Southbound on the 410, south of Derry, the HOV lane, that's shut down for some road work. And on city streets in Brampton, we have this problem at Tomkin and Advance, which is south of Steeles. Expect some lanes blocked there because of a crash. Emergency crews are on that scene. And downtown, TTC track work at King and Shaw. Shaw is blocked in both directions at King. Motorists are forced to turn right, and then King Street down to one lane in both directions at Shaw.
That's a union thing, because there's no reason to do that work right
to
now.
Keep your yard green. No, you don't have to come near them. Look at all the things the gardener can do for your yard at hirethegardener.com.
Use those rails once a year.
Hirethegardener.com. And now with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
All right, Carrie, we've got some showers out through the west end, Burlington, Hamilton, just edging towards Milton and Georgetown right now. Now that
they use those when they divert the streetcars. They don't go all the way downtown.
Showers here in Toronto later this afternoon and into the evening, overnight, and tomorrow morning.
They're preparing. Some of these roads might get fucked up.
Tomorrow, 3 to 6 millimeters of rain. 6 degrees to start off the day. We'll get some sun tomorrow afternoon at 14, and then a second round of rain moves in tomorrow night into Thursday morning. It's only a couple of millimeters. The big deal on Thursday is going to be the winds. They'll be gusting up to 60 kilometers per hour with a high of 9 degrees. Tonight, we're down to a low of 6 degrees. Right now, it is 13 degrees at Pearson and a couple of degrees cooler along the lake.
Now, the Dynamic Funds Market Minutes, the Business Center, Richard Southern.
Hey, James, good afternoon. Coming up here on the last 45 minutes of the trading day, still looking at an advance for most of the stock benchmarks. They're off their earlier highs, mind you. The Dow right now up 300 points, or 1.33% at 22,894. S&P 500 managing a gain of 0.6%. The Nasdaq's up just 11 points right now. TSX higher by 45 points, about 1/3%. Bit of a softening of the mood here.
That was like half
fraction for oil. Oil dropping 7.33%, $24.16 per share. As some big agencies lower their demand forecast for crude. Gold is down to $1,676 US dollars. Canadian dollar 71.53 cents US. The headlines are next on 680 News.
What's the cost of investing without advice? That's a great question. Speak to a financial advisor today and visit dynamic.ca/advice to find out why advice matters.
We're two men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think two men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're two men and a truck. We're open for business. Two men and a truck. the movers who care.
I'm here with Bill Coy of Coy Brothers, and we're talking about Coy Brothers 1 and Coy Brothers 2.
One's bricks and mortar, and the second is our online store.
I hear both are equally as great, except if I shop online, I can't see you, Bill.
Oh, these assholes are showing up. They don't have anything sorted, anything counted, nothing. So it takes them 5 fucking minutes, and they're serving one fucking person at a time, man.
Yes, sir, and brand names you love.
Like Steel and Kubota, all from Coy Brothers.
Oh, I'm in and out in 30 seconds. I had to wait for the guy for 60 seconds.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
I don't know what he had. He must have had to do something. I looked up, there was 2 people. I looked down, I looked up, they were gone. And I was ready to go.
I'm still Janet Timmons. Here are the top
Sitting there
stories
waiting.
right now.
The latest on the war against the spread and made-at-home solutions. Premier Ford making the trip to a Woodbridge manufacturing facility today.
Those bags hold 50 cans, and when you dump them in the tote, it holds 50 cans.
This comes as the city of Toronto
Imagine if they
announces
did that
a
on
recall
purpose, eh?
of 62,000 masks that were sent to long-term care homes recently, but not up to standards. And on the road, stalled transport truck westbound 41 west of the 427 in the express, right lane block. Full traffic and weather in seconds.
Time for 680 Sports from Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Here's Alex Xero.
And the Edmonton Oilers announcing today that forward Colby Cave is in the critical care unit at Sunnybrook Hospital after suffering a brain bleed. The team says that Cave has been placed in a medically induced coma. We wish him a speedy recovery. Meantime, the Maple Leafs have reached a 1-year contract with Russian winger Alexander Barabanov. Those who have watched him play say he's a great skater and could profile as a third liner. Major League Baseball says a one-location plan has been talked about, but nothing is close to being finalized. Various reports today that MLB could be back in May at the earliest, and the state of Arizona is the leading candidate to be a quarantine site. In a proposal, Chase Field and 10 spring training fields would host games. The CFL already postponed preseason. Today they postponed the start of the regular season. It means we won't have games until at least July. And the F1's Canadian Grand Prix set for this June in Montreal has also been postponed. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590.
This is 680 News. This is an important message from the City of Toronto. Stay home. During the COVID-19 pandemic, social distancing means staying home. Only go out for absolute essential needs, like food and medicine. We can't emphasize the importance of this enough. Stay 6 feet apart to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Avoid contact with others. Essential and critical services are being maintained. Please do your part. Learn more at toronto.ca/COVID-19.
At Visions Electronics, your safety is our #1 priority. But we're still committed to saving you money on electronics. During our inventory sell-off, get what you and your family needs to work, learn, and entertain at an even lower price. With increased savings in every department. With up to 12 months to pay and no interest. Shop online at visions.ca and have it delivered. Or call the store, ask some questions, set up an easy curbside pickup. Visions Electronics. Keeping homes connected all across Canada.
This is 680 News. Amazon is now helping to distribute medical equipment here in Canada.
Under the deal, Amazon Canada will help move things like masks, gloves, and ventilators purchased
That's all
from the
Amazon
Canadian
did was
government.
send
Now,
off
the value of the deal is
to
not
Canada
known,
Post.
but we have been told Amazon Canada is providing the service at cost without profit. The company will work
but you
collaboratively
can't
with the
calculate
Canadian
it that way,
government
so don't
to
even
manage
pretend.
orders through its online
do it exactly
Amazon
at
business
cost.
store, but it will also use its Canadian distribution network, which includes Canada Post and Purolator. The Canadian Union of Postal Workers has written to the federal government to express concerns about things like labor rights, along with health and safety worries. At the Business Center,
I never pledged to
Chris
protect Amazon.
McCusker.
Ellen DeGeneres taking some flack.
Ellen DeGeneres' daytime talk show has been off the air for most of the coronavirus shutdown, returning Monday from her living room. She thanked medical workers and those on the front lines, then made a joke that rubbed people the wrong way.
This is like being in jail, is what it is.
No, this
It's
is fun.
mostly because I've been wearing the same clothes for 10 days and everyone in here is gay.
Yeah, that's funny. I don't care what you say.
That I had.
On social media, Ellen was trending for the wrong reasons, slammed for being
I'm wearing the jail
and going
jumpsuit.
out
Shut
that
the
she was
fuck
sitting in
up.
her
She's
comfy
funny.
mansion while people in actual jails are getting coronavirus and dying.
Yeah, we got a dark sense of humor, buddy. That's what's funny about it. She can crack a joke about that shit. You people don't even want to mention that it's happening.
In times like these,
But you just did because you cracked the joke.
We think
Right.
so. That's why at Duca Credit Union, you get no-fee checking accounts.
I'm not saying nothing
You also
about
get
that. The
high-interest
Toronto South
deposits
is
and
set up different
investments
than most
and low
jails.
mortgage rates.
It's all fucking
Plus, you get to
pods.
share in the profits. That's the Duca difference.
They'll just fucking
And now
lock
we're
people
offering
down separately. They'll make
2.5%
little
interest on your
bubbles around
savings until
everybody
March
if they have
31st,
to.
2021. Find out how at earnmore.duca.com.
They've got pods in there with no
Be more,
fucking guards in
achieve
it.
more with Duca Credit Union. Conditions apply.
In these times, keeping your lungs
I
healthy
get
is
5 guards just to open my cell door.
and the Lung Health
And there's
Foundation
bastards
is here
in
to
there, like
help.
30 or
Maybe you
60
want
of
to
them
get
or
your asthma
whatever, with
under
no
control, but
for,
your
I don't know.
inhaler technique needs work, or you have
With
COPD
no guards.
and you need
What the
tips
fuck?
that can help you manage breathlessness. Perhaps today you're finally ready to quit
They're
smoking.
very
or
safe
vaping.
and protected.
Certified respiratory educators are standing by for free
Very,
confidential
very,
phone or chat
very
sessions.
safe.
Visit
Very safe.
lunghealth.ca to get started today. Breathe easy. Lung Health starts now. 680 News Time, 321.
Traffic weather together, all the ones. Carrie.
This report is brought to you by 407 ETR. Eastbound on the 401, east of Avenue Road in the Collectors, the right lane is blocked because of a stalled vehicle. So watch out for this. There's no delay heading through this area. So that's eastbound 401. As you're coming up to Avenue, make sure that you're in the left-hand lanes of the Collectors, and it's just east of Avenue in the Collectors. Westbound on the 401, MTO reporting emergency construction at Harmony Road in the left lane. I'm not spotting any delay, though. The westbound 401 is lightly traveled, and it looks good on the Gardner and the QEW. Just lane blocked on the westbound QEW at Winston Churchill. The left lane
Here's
shut
the
down.
street lights that I'm noticing go out.
And it looks like crews are in the process
When
of
they put
clearing
the
this
street lights in
construction
this city,
southbound on
they
the 410
overlap
south
them
of Deary.
just enough.
The HOV lane
And
closed
a bunch
off.
of them
Just
go
picking up
out,
the
but a
pylons
bunch of them
through
are
here,
still
so
lit.
use
You
extra
can
caution
see
there.
anyway.
And on city streets
They
in
overlap.
Brampton,
That's why it's so fucking
Tonkin is
bright.
blocked in both directions south of Steeles and Advance. This is all for a collision investigation, so avoid that area. And downtown Toronto, TTC track work at King and Shaw. Shaw is blocked in both directions at King. You're forced to make a right. And then King Street reduced to one lane both ways at Shaw. 407 ETR would like to thank all the healthcare workers and essential services who are
I
working
can see the
tirelessly
fucking
for our
intersection. I
communities
still
through
don't
difficult
understand what she
times.
just said.
407ETR.com.
Forced to make a right.
Stay
Shaw is
safe.
closed.
And
How
that
are you
was the
making a right?
extended forecast. Here's Natasha Ramsahide.
All I know is there's a
today
gas
we're going to
station
be
with a
into
Tim
some
Hortons
showers.
right
It's already
there.
happening out through the west end. Should be in Toronto about 6 p.m. or so, 7 p.m. And once it gets here, it's 3 to 6 millimeters continuing into tomorrow morning. We'll wake up
3
to
to
about
6,
6
I don't
degrees.
believe
Also
you.
tonight, if you've got friends or family down through Essex County, down through Windsor, they are expecting some pretty intense storms there tonight. Tomorrow morning, still damp and drizzly, but we'll get into some sun in the afternoon at 14 degrees. Another
That's
round of
just enough
showers
water to
Wednesday
make
night into
all that
Thursday morning.
leaves and
We're gonna
crap
dry out
wet
again
enough to make
Thursday
everything
afternoon
start
with a high of
growing
9,
mold and
gusty
shit.
conditions out of the northwest. And then Friday, early in the morning, watch for some lake effect flurries. Yeah, I said flurries. No accumulation expected in Toronto. It's going to be too wet and a lot of it melting on impact. That'll be Friday morning. The afternoon, very
we're
windy,
getting
still
snow.
overcast, and the coolest day of the
After
week.
all this, we're going to get snow. After all this, we're getting snow in April. Motherfucker, you're
Coming up at the bottom of the hour, the latest on the war against the spread of COVID-19. Some good news here at home. Premier Ford making the trip to a Woodbridge manufacturing facility today, where the first 1,000 protective masks have been produced. And the city announcing a recall.
1,000,
Tens of
that's the
thousands of
number you
masks
start
that
with.
were sent
Not
to long-term
68
care
fucking
homes. We'll bring you
thousand or
that story
whatever.
straight ahead. This is 680 News.
Every time you spend some cash, you get some cash back with the CIBC Dividend Visa Infinite Card. Every time, with no limit on how much you can earn. You even earn on your monthly subscriptions. And when it comes to those necessary purchases like gas and groceries, you get 4% cash back on eligible purchases. 4%. Plus, right now, your first year's annual fee is on us. Don't just spend, earn. The CIBC Dividend Visa Infinite Card. Conditions apply. Learn more at CIBC.com/cashback.
Over the coming days and weeks, news on the coronavirus may become overwhelming. It has never been more important to stay informed on the latest local, provincial, and federal authorities to keep you and your family safe. 680 News continues to bring you the facts and information you need as this situation continues to unfold. Now's the time to remain calm and stay safe. We are here with you, and we'll always be here. This is 680 News.
lockdown that served as a model for
part of the mandate of having a radio
coronavirus
license is providing emergency
after 11
communication.
weeks
It's
today,
in there.
Chinese
It's in
authorities
the
now
fine
allowing
print.
residents of Wuhan to once again travel in and out of the sprawling city where the pandemic began. Starting after midnight, the city's 11 million residents are permitted to leave without special authorization, as long as a mandatory smartphone app shows they're healthy and have not been in recent contact with anyone confirmed to have the
Mandatory
virus.
smartphone
Business
apps.
Next. This is
People in
680
Canada
News.
don't know how free
The
they
government
are
of
right
Canada
now.
and public health experts are taking action to protect Canadians from COVID-19. Protect yourself and others, especially those with medical conditions and older adults. Wash your hands often. Avoid touching your face. Cough or sneeze into your arm and disinfect surfaces. You should also avoid crowded places. Avoid all non-essential travel. And if you're sick, stay home. To learn more, visit canada.ca/coronavirus. A message from the Government of Canada.
I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat.
I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink.
The Scott Mission has been helping Toronto's hungry and homeless since 1941.
These people are
And
awesome.
this Easter, they really need your help, especially during
They
these
ain't got no money.
You can provide a meal for just $4.25 and ensure that everyone who comes to the Scott Mission is warmly welcomed by people who care. Make your gift online today at scottmission.com/hope or call 416-923-2400.
680 Youth Sign 326.
Now 680 Business Report in the Home Office, Richard Southern.
Hey, James, good afternoon. It's an unfortunate side effect of the pandemic. Dairy farmers across Ontario are dumping fresh milk right down the drain. Now, it's not that the likes of you and I are buying less milk from the grocery store. We're not. It really has to do with some of the biggest players in the food industry consuming lots of it and needing lots of it. Schools, restaurants, and chains like Tim Hortons usually buy a ton of milk and cream, but are purchasing much less now, what with many of them closed. The dairy farmers of Ontario say disposing of milk is an extraordinary measure, and they say it's one they only consider doing in emergency situations. Dairy farmers
Put it in cans,
supply of milk
stupid.
to your local grocery store will not be
Sell it to me
disrupted. There's
6
no
months
issue
from
with
now,
that.
you
And the dairy farmers of Ontario will share.
Store it outside with a tarp over it.
Dumping that
What's
milk
wrong
down
with you?
the drain. Meantime, farmers here in Canada and in the U.S., they are perhaps facing crop losses because of foreign worker delays. You see, mandatory quarantines of seasonal workers in Canada could hurt our fruit and vegetable output this year. In Canada,
What I say about
rely on
Mexicans picking apples?
16,000 temporary
Racist.
workers.
No.
Some farmers here in Ontario say they may be unable to harvest their full asparagus crop when it comes in next month, unless foreign workers start arriving by mid-April.
I'm not going to cry
Other
over
farmers
it.
in Ontario worry about smaller fruit harvests this year due to a lack of labor. All right, coming up on the last half an hour of trade, we're
That's
looking
okay.
at
This
gains
apple
for
juice was made
major
last year.
benchmarks for second day. Not nearly as big a gains as we were looking at earlier in the day, mind you. The TSX, though, it's up 73 points, 0.5% to 13,666.
13,666. Get the fuck out of here, man.
Dropping 9 1/3% to $23.63. Hopes that the big producers are going to cut back on the amount of oil they're taking out of the ground. Very much being
It's
tempered.
a half hour. You could have fucking
worsening
picked
oil
any number out of a
fears
range.
of a worsening recession.
There's a half hour
Let's take a
left.
look
in the
here at Wall
fucking
Street right now. Dow
business
Jones
day.
Industrial Average is up 98 points, about 0.4% at 22,778. S&P gains 0.8%. Nasdaq's pretty flat. It's up just 20 points. Gold is down to 1,676 US dollars the ounce, and the Canadian dollar's higher, up to 71.43 cents US. Top stories 60 seconds away, right here on 680 News.
Hi, I'm Anthony Longo. Our family has been proud to serve Ontarians for over 60
I think
years.
the gas
And
is
like your
75
family,
cents.
we're doing our best to stay positive during these challenging times. I'd like to thank all our team members for their continued commitment to serving our community. And I'm grateful to our loyal guests for being patient with us and with each other while we do our best to keep our shelves stocked, our stores clean, and our community safe. And even though we're all trying to keep our distance, I hope this experience will bring us all closer together. Thank you.
License 10349. It's a slap in the face. Your bank refused your mortgage. Don't get mad. Call Northwood Mortgage. Northwood Mortgage takes a closer look at your financial picture. Property equity, past record, the promise of performance, and more. Northwood Mortgage does everything they can to approve the mortgage you need.
Chicken and rice, chili.
Mississauga, light rain, 13. Markham, clouds, 15. It's overcast in downtown Toronto, 13 degrees. It's 3:30.
Number one for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Here are Split Jenna Dominzik and James Monroe.
Good afternoon. This is Tuesday, the 7th of April.
Here's what's making news right now.
The city of Toronto is recalling thousands of substandard surgical masks 10 days after they were distributed to long-term care homes. Ontario reports 379 new confirmed COVID-19 cases, with the number of outbreaks at long-term care homes climbing to 51.
The province puts out a call for anyone with medical experience to step up and help out in the fight against COVID-19.
They will certainly have a place within
Medical
our healthcare
marijuana, the
system.
medicine for
That
this shit.
includes
Look, I'm coughing all the crap out.
New York's death toll in the last
Get more
24 hours
oxygen
is more
in.
than double Canada's
Oh yeah,
total.
my lungs
Still,
hurt.
health officials
My
across
lungs hurt
America
bad.
say the curve is starting to flatten.
That's not a real term, so we still don't know what that means. The curve is flattening, so we're still going up, right? Yeah, it's still uphill. You haven't been walking up a hill. Oh, this part's not as steep, but we're still going uphill, right? And it's gonna be more lately. You're still going uphill, right?
46. Oil selling off. Business, the 50 cents.
Who gives a fuck about oil?
680 News Time, 3:31.
Traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Gary Brunskis.
Now I gotta
This
listen to the
report is
fucking end
brought
of
to
the
you by
business.
St. Louis Bar and Grill. The rain is making its way across the GTA right now, so be prepared for changing conditions. It looks like the road's starting to get pretty wet along the QEW through Mississauga and Oakville.
Raining already.
And we have some construction as well, westbound on the QEW at Winston Churchill.
Going from
The
10
left
o'clock
lane
to
is
7
closed,
o'clock
so
to
just be
now.
careful through the stretch. There's absolutely no delay to worry
It's
about.
3:30.
Eastbound on the 401, east of Avenue Road in the Collectors, that stalled vehicle has been removed, so that right lane has reopened. Westbound on the 401 at Harmony Road, left lane closed there. That's emergency construction ongoing, but no delay there either. If you're taking the westbound, or rather the northbound 400 at Duckworth, left lane closed there. That's ongoing construction. And it looks like all lanes have reopened southbound on the 410 south of Derry. They've wrapped up that construction work. In Brampton, Tomkin is closed in both directions south of Steeles. It's blocked for a collision investigation, so expect a bit of a delay on the detour in that area. And we have some construction downtown, eastbound on Queen at Spadina. The right lane is closed, so that's causing a backup from just east of Bathurst. St. Louis Bar and Grill thanks you for supporting local businesses, including your local St. Louis restaurant, through takeout and delivery.
There's
Their
water
deepest
pipes, gas
gratitude
pipes,
goes to the
sewage
first
pipes,
responders
storm
keeping us all
pipes,
safe.
everything down there.
And now we'll go to the
Cables,
forecast. Here's Natasha
phone
Ramsden.
wires, and fiber optics.
Yeah, wet conditions, as Carrie mentioned here, mostly
through
through the west end right now, pretty much Mississauga westward, and it should be into Toronto by about 6 p.m. or so. Once it gets here, it is going to be isolated, or not isolated, light showers, that is, overnight into tomorrow morning, 3 to 6 millimeters on the way, and still some drizzle lingering until about noon. After that, we'll start to get into some sun, and that's when we bump up to 14 degrees. Overnight tonight, down to a low of 6 degrees. It is currently 13 degrees at Pearson.
This is 680 News.
We have breaking news from the city of Toronto, which has issued a recall for poor quality surgical masks, a quarter of which were distributed to long-term care homes.
Wait, what happened to the other
cases
three-quarters?
and deaths related to COVID-19 are being reported at these facilities. We'll have more on that in just a moment.
For 680's Michelle
You're giving
Mackey
a
joins us
fake
live
mask.
with the details.
You're not
of the
separating
recall,
sick
Michelle.
people from not
James,
sick
the city
people.
of Toronto says it discovered yesterday that a recently purchased order of more than $200,000 worth of surgical masks did not meet the specifications the city requires. And the 62,000 masks were distributed to Toronto's long-term care homes on March 28th. That's about 10 days ago. The city received reports of ripping and tearing, and when health and safety staff did some more digging, they determined the masks ordered were substandard. The masks are being returned, and the city says the vendor has committed to a full refund. But the loss of this inventory makes for
what
a
business is
significant
that
shortfall of
business in?
surgical masks for Toronto. So, in the meantime, the city is
Why don't
retrieving
they
its
have
stockpile
good
of surgical
masks to
masks
send
until a
you?
new appropriate grade mask as specified can be purchased, which will happen on a priority basis. The provincial government has been contacted to help expedite the order. An investigation by the city is now underway to determine how many employees in the city's long-term care homes were caring for a patient while wearing these masks, and if there was a possible exposure to COVID-19. And we're expecting to hear more from the city's top doctor and Mayor John Tory in 15 minutes. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Mackey. Well, the province is reporting another triple-digit batch of confirmed coronavirus cases with growing concern about the safety of residents in long-term care homes. 680's Irene Precklett has that. Ontario is reporting 379 new cases of COVID-19, including 21 more deaths. That brings the totals in the province to 4,726 confirmed cases, including 153 deaths. The number of outbreaks at long-term care homes has climbed to 51. NDP leader Andrea Horwath says the government should be doing more, including recruiting extra staff and more staff per shift in each long-term care home.
Assigning each staff member to one facility only, ending all exceptions. Standardizing visitor policies province-wide.
There have been at least 69 COVID-19 related deaths of people who had been in long-term care homes. I'm Irene Precklett.
This is 680 News. As thousands of Canadian companies step up to manufacture much-needed protective equipment, a GTA company has rolled out the first batch of made-in-Ontario, soon-to-be certified masks. 680's Mark Douglas joins us live with the good news made by the Premier, Mark.
Yeah, that's right, James. Ontario Premier Doug Ford today going up to Vaughan to pick up the first 1,000 of these made-in-Ontario medical masks from Woodbridge Group. Now, he says that plant is eventually going to make
everybody wasn't in the army, but they
masks,
made something.
This is what the workshop of Canada looks like. Now, the Premier will not put a timeline on how soon Ontario could be completely self-sufficient in supplies to fight COVID-19, as he had already promised. He says that is a fluid
These animals
process.
were alive
However,
in this
We get a
neighborhood.
shipment of 100,000 masks in
They
one
came
day.
on a truck.
It moves
Now
the
I'm
needle.
eating them in this
We have
neighborhood.
people donating every single day. But if you're asking me, is today better than yesterday? The answer is yes. The answer is yes, based on Woodbridge, based on the 3M agreement.
Now, the masks made by Woodbridge Group still need to be certified as N95 grade, the kind of masks made by 3M. Ford also thanking various other companies, universities, and colleges in the province for either donating or making supplies.
Why
He
was
says
the
so
city
many
trying to
organizations
cheat out
have
on
contacted
masks?
the province to help out. They haven't all received a call back yet, but they will. Reporting live, I'm Mark Douglas.
Can you tell us if it seems too good to be true? Probably
News
is.
from critical ventilators to hospital gowns. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says Canadian companies are stepping up to the plate to help produce much-needed medical supplies amid the COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh, the nice part about building this shit in-house on the fly, run it into the ground, damage it. It's okay, we'll melt it down and make a new one.
Justin Trudeau
Turn
says
it
about
into beer cans
5,000
and
companies
engine
across
blocks.
the country have taken up the federal offer to help produce medical supplies that are in dire need, not just here at home, but around the world. Parka maker
Quebec's
Canada
got the
Goose and
plastic
underwear producer
factories on
Stanfields are
lock.
just some of the businesses altering manufacturing lines to help make items like hospital gowns and face masks. And the Prime Minister says the government's also landed an important deal with several medical companies
to produce up to 30,000 made-in-Canada ventilators. These purchases will help increase our capacity to make sure these life-saving machines are made right here at home.
The government's also still tapping international suppliers, receiving 8 million masks from China yesterday and expecting to receive 500,000 more from 3M tomorrow. Meanwhile, on the first day of applications for the Canada Emergency Response Benefit, more than 960,000 people qualified, with hundreds of thousands more expected today and for the rest of the week. Cormac makes Parliament Hill.
960,000 qualified.
This
That's
is
more than what you
News
told
Radio,
us supplied
680 News.
yesterday.
Numbers out of the U.S. remain staggering. Just under 400,000 cases of COVID-19, 12,000 deaths. But health experts say promising signs are starting to emerge. 680's Cam Dorr joins us live. Cam.
James, government models show Washington State has already passed its peak, and New York is just a day away. But Governor Andrew Cuomo says the downward trend doesn't take away from work still needed to be done.
I know it feels like a lifetime. It's been so disruptive, so abrupt, so frightening, so disorienting, but it's only been 37 days, right? Everything in context and everything in perspective.
New York hit a one-day high.
No,
of
I'm still counting for Friday the
731
13th
deaths on the
and
West
fucking
Coast. Experts
St.
predict
Patrick's
California's
Day.
peak still 10 days
Apparently
away.
I'm the only
Breaking news
person
from
in the city that
CNN:
got
the
drunk on
Navy's
St. Patrick's
secretary is stepping down. Thomas Modley took heat after he called the captain stupid for sounding the alarm on a ship for a coronavirus outbreak. Modley apologized yesterday, but it appears to be too little, too late. Reporting live, I'm Cam Dorr.
This is 680 News. Stop the spread. COVID-19 can be deadly. Acting now will save lives.
We all need to work together to stop the spread of COVID-19. Staying home protects our most vulnerable. Staying home will help keep our family, friends, and neighbors safe. Do your part. Stay home. For information, visit ontario.ca/coronavirus. Paid for by the Government of Ontario.
On city streets, eastbound Queen down to a single lane at Spadina for construction. It's slow from east to Bathurst. In Brampton, Tompkin is blocked south of Steeles at Advance because of a collision investigation.
See, the government doesn't have to come in and take over the radio station. Business drops off. Nobody's advertising. The government is now advertising in all those empty slots. So they're just going to keep pushing the message they're supposed to and doing what's expected of them. They don't have to come in and say, oh, you work for us now and do what we say. They don't have to. It's very simple how we do things here. You're going to do it. You're going to do it.
The festival of Passover begins. It marks the liberation of the Jewish nation from Egyptian bondage. In celebration of our miraculous freedom, the first 2 nights are observed with ritually laden family feasts. Most important, the
next 10 minutes is sports and shit.
Part in relating the biblical narrative of our Exodus. As always, Chabad Lubavitch, along with our 3,000 affiliate branches around the world, are here to help with all your holiday needs. Whether you wish to sell your chavetz, take round hand
401. Thankfully, no delay through here, but just watch out for these crews that are working from Harmony to Westwards and in the left lane.
A light stand that was damaged last night. I think that was a truck.
Look, been out from the grind for the minute, trying to get it out. I've been getting it. These niggas have been sweating it. Don't get out the bed, but when I phone a nigga begging it, I'm way ahead of it. I'll ride upon a nigga letting it off. When it comes to this rap shit, I've got this, and so is Jeezy Low. Man, I'm crazy folk. I'm out for them notes, but I still keep it close. Chase a man, try provoke. That's 5 shots through his throat. Listen, if you know, then you know. I'm still on lot of drugs, shotting hoes, stashing knives in me clothes. If it's not your beat, don't get involved. We ride out to slap a nigga down, and no cases get solved. Listen, I'm the shooter, you're the victim. I rode out with him and told police away with him. I gave me boys 106 slopes to the loot. Just said that's for that dude. The next day, when it clipped him, I'm back on it. Make this got the shotty. Said I don't want it. I've got nowhere to put it. Plus it's out of bullets, and I hate them shotguns. Cause when it's beef, I've never got nowhere to stuff it. I'm riding out with hand things with bullets that expand. If a hitman by the barbers, he gon' land by pound. And then I'm lost. So don't act like you found, man. 8 bills for the odds if you want that brown tan. Listen, I'm trying to stay low off the radar from home because I know they want me so. They want me gone. They're still trying to find me from crimes that I did years ago, but I don't even give a fuck. I got fined once. They hit me with some threats. Talk about they'll take the shit if I didn't pay the debt. You gotta cheat. Little fucking dumb. Tell him Jeezy, straight Liverpool to Toronto. You know what it is? Show these niggas how it's back on my side. Yo, I'm like, bang, bang, shots fly, body found in the park again. So flew like an angel with the darkest sins. You can't fly with the carpet wings. So I had to watch him sink like agnostic shit. It's like I built this on my own, no partnership. I did it solo. Nigga, this my nigga, so I shot it up solo. First time I nigga, the click skills for the fofo. Everything, yeah, sure. And I'm like, word to my mother, this fuck kills. And if I don't have it, then I know it's the snipe bill. See where I'm from? Man, know that the toolie got sliver. Poor man, turn your liver to a polar blood. It's that real. Gas pill, but the gas will. And the thing gets stashed in the backfield. And I'm like, niggas been snaking and all that. You know I'm a boss. I took a break, but I'm taking it all back. Handles done smooth, pump short, cause I saw that. Guns with suppressors like I'm ready for combat. Yo, A-Star, all these fuck niggas beyond that. It's one phone call, 7 niggas in all black. Be ready, nigga. Hop back and blow deadly, nigga. Stays in my hand, can't talk it, it's too heavy, nigga. Yeah, hop back and blow deadly, nigga. Stays in my hand, can't talk it, it's too heavy, nigga.
People are running around trying to sell pieces of fucking like meat from like the grocery store. I got beef. What do you mean you got beef? No, like in the bag. Like you're fucked up, bro. Why are the people you gonna sell this shit to?
Tell them that the squad's here. Give up on the plan, fam.
18 on both sides. Man, it's easy on the mic with you now, man.
Yeah. The Derelicts, Philly teams, Dreamcast. We beat them schizo kids. We beat them schizo kids. Hey, yo. I hold a murderous mind, it's dark and twisted and blind, I'm meant to define, as the grim reaper around, the dark night of master, spit natural disasters, lust for bone fractures and blood plasma flash. I'm the one you don't get to play with, cause I'll finish you, sick in the cerebral, insanely relinquish a flurry of pain and verbs of rebuttal context, to flex with the sharp syllables and slice next, and step to a beat, and step with the rhythm, I beat that ass like the beat when the bass starts hitting, my personality's hitting, so which one is it? Got 7 homies in the brain, including Derelict. Stone cold hard with a go hard drive. Stone so snatched with these old so dope lines. I'm the lifeline and I'm the life that cause death every time I spit. When I do begin shit so kids, you know who this is. Dreamcast, Philly D, and the Derelict. Lyrics of lunatic, spiritual psycho shit.
Overdose. You already know what it is. Overdose. Cody King and overdose. Overdose. That's us.
Raise a shot to another fucking year. Light that blunt if you high like air. Start that line if you don't fucking care. I do drugs, I do drugs, I do drugs.
I do everything I want. I do everything I want. I can do anything I want. I can do anything I want.
I do drugs, I do drugs, I do drugs. I do drugs, I do drugs, I do drugs. Winner, chicken dinner, I'm gonna eat you up. I'm in the club, I'm gonna have a party, I'm gonna live it up. Take another pill or another shot. Here's another dab, I can never get enough. Need enough so we can last. Yeah, I'm a dirty ass, grimy line starter. That's how I keep my motivation. I'll do fine with just the chord. That way can be on top of my zone. I don't need to scatter my thoughts when I'm reciting lyrical miracles. Everything else to me don't matter. Watch your back. I'm a vicious ass rapper. True, fuck the jelly before the peanut butter. Put it back in the cracker, Ritz slapper. I'm a drug blaster. Always doing what I want. Try and stop me, motherfucker. Raise a shot to another fucking year. Light that blunt if you high like air. Snort that line if you don't fucking care. I do drugs, I do drugs, I do drugs.
Everything I want. I do everything I want. I can do anything I want. I can do anything I want.
I do drugs, I do drugs, I do drugs. I do drugs, I do drugs, I do drugs.
I'ma fire it up like it's a fresh doobie. No, you silly flamers, not the chili they movie. My mind is kinda screwy from these drugs I'm doing. But I don't think that I'm really losing. All of the boozing and shooting has got my mind oozing. These lyrics for you floozies. Don't say you know me. I lost all my homies. They all overdose shit. You ain't in my old beef.
Where they at?
Just ate a gummy. Now everything is floating. Snort a couple addies. I must keep going. Gotta keep flowing. These drugs take funding. Always steady stunting. Yeah, we fucking running.
Raise a shot to another fucking year. Light that blunt if you high like air. Start that line if you don't fucking care. I don't. I do drugs, I do drugs, I do drugs.
I do everything I want. I do everything I want.
I can do anything I want. We can do anything we want. I do drugs, I do drugs, I do drugs. Yeah, we do. I do drugs, I do drugs, I do drugs.
Cody King and overdose. Ain't no little pump, bitch. Did a fat ringer while Cody's doing bumps.
Hey.
all day. Hit the ground running, couple beats and beers, you know we steady buzzing.
Yeah, I can do anything I want. 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 I do drugs, I do drugs, I do drugs.
Flyest niggas since kindergarten, liars. Shoot stupid kicks, been retarded. I make the coke black when I'm in the market. I make the price drop like I'm in the Target. I'm like a holy prophet trying to make a profit. Rough rider, legendary prospect. I ain't where I'm yet. Now shut up my gunman friend, yo. 10-4 in my extender. 2 extra clips for the extra shit. They each hold 7, you getting blessed with it. Yeah, I got so much beef, my ex was stressed with it. Why? It was eye for an eye, Old Testament. Word. The bottom of was my heart dwells. Treating these waters like shark tails. Word. My homie got last, was all bell. I had waved this shit. Walking back on the 4 bell. Used to see me out range and go tell. Catching that court, stopping with Jordans like my tell. Swear to God, I would never pray to Jesus. For the extras, I'm a straight to people. Every day I pay for new AK, like Pablo. Every day I pay for new AK, like Chapo. Every day I pay for new AK, like Pablo. Every day I pay for new AK, like Chapo. Every day I pay for new AK, like Pablo. Every day I pay for new AK, like Chapo. Every day I pay for new AK, like Pablo. Every day I pay for new
The hottest kid in the kitchen, I've been nice. Got to do double crossing me, think twice. Gold chains, gold in my mouth, case full of ammunition. Cocaine on my nosebleed, that's a Kathy Griffin. Bullets light up the night sky and they blame me, boy. Magnums in the back of the whip, they call me baby, boy. My ATL again, sending your section 80, boy. The fuck do you think the mafia pay me for? Young, rich, and handsome, bullets like an anthem. When they started singing, everybody put their hands up. Ain't nobody been doing the shit that I do. God, boy, how many hoes can I fit inside you? Scratched up with lines around them like the kids of I know. Put up with the Mac and find them like this shit to drive through. Angels will find you, but I would never pray to Jesus. For the extras, I'ma scrape the beaters. Yeah. Every day I pay for new AK, that's Pablo. Every day I pay for new AK, Chapo. Every day I pay for new AK, that's Pablo. Every day I pay for new AK, Chapo. Every day I pay for new AK, that's Pablo. Every day I pay for new AK, Chapo. Every day I pay for new AK, Pablo. Every day I pay for new AK.
Standard quality surgical masks that were handed out to staff at long-term care homes. We'll have the latest at 4.
This is the 6 City News. Buy early and win big in the Princess Margaret Home Lottery. Don't miss our world-famous $1.5 million early bird prize. A stunning Kawartha lakefront cottage built by Linwood, plus $30,000 cash. And you'll be in for the $6.8 million grand prize. Homes, cottages, condos, cars, and more. It really is one big prize after another. Buy now at PrincessMargaretLotto.com.
Somewhere beyond the effects that act story. Most of my favorite guys, Jordan, you should say his ghost story. Watch it here and there. Just get his subscribe. Watch it put him in the
Use your chance to see your name in lights and comes care of Mervish Productions. It's asking all cross-talkers to create new slogans that are inspirational and instructional in these turbulent days. Something along the lines of keep calm, stay home, our health is in your hands, wash them frequently, your vigilance.
Oh, well, it sounds like you've already got the fucking things you want.
Try to take on me and do the jogging, man. With the champion thing without some sadness up in it. I know the world is ours, I'm just having a minute. Another dead man walking.
2 winners will be chosen
Tickets cost more than $100 there. What the fuck? It's not a price, it's a sale. That's like a coupon.
Stop the spread. COVID-19 can be deadly. Acting now will save lives. We all need to work together to stop the spread of COVID-19. Staying home protects our most vulnerable. Staying home will help keep our family, friends, and neighbors safe. Do your part. Stay home. For information, visit ontario.ca/coronavirus. Paid for by the Government of Ontario.
Introducing Irwin's new Command Lock Tape Measures, built for extra control with a finger break, up to 14-foot reach, and a high-contrast DuPont Mylar film-coated white blade. Plus, it comes in a high-impact resistant case. When every quarter-inch matters, these tapes are designed with your job in mind. New Irwin Command Lock Tapes, built for the trades. Available only at Canadian Tire stores across Canada. Find out more at irwintools.ca.
680 News Time, 3:56.
Now the 680 News Business Report. Here's Richard Southern.
Thanks, Lojano. Companies of all sorts have been pitching in to help out the amazing healthcare workers on the front line. You can add Scotiabank to the list. Scotia says it will start a front-of-the-line service for healthcare workers starting on April 13th. When they call Scotia helplines, they'll get priority service, so they won't have to wait on hold. Very long, if at all. Seniors 75 years of age and older will also get that priority call service from Scotia. All right, meantime, interesting bet here on the badly beaten down cruise industry. Shares in Carnival Cruise Lines are up more than 11% right now at $11.30 after Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund bought an 8.2% stake in Carnival. 43.5 million shares is what it bought, despite the fact that the pandemic has crippled the global travel industry, particularly the cruise lines. Of course, passengers on the boats have fallen ill, and all the ships become COVID-19 epidemics, really. But obviously, Saudi Arabia's fund here thinks they can make money on this, you would assume. Wolfgang Klein is with Canaccord Genuity. Wolfgang, you see a lot of tweets, though, of people saying they'll never go on a cruise again after this.
They can enjoy that trade. Yeah, I agree with you, Richard. You have to think. I own Air Canada. I own Chorus Aviation. I have enough problems on my book with those two names, and I think that we're more readily willing to fly 3 or 4 hours than we are getting ourselves trapped onto a boat. The stories of the cruise ships continue to be very, very negative. So I think that's going to be the last subsector to recover. I think airlines and hotels would be a better trade right here, right now.
Look at Air Canada stock up 9.5% right now on Bay Street, $16.61. Coming up to the end of the trading day, and the gains have almost evaporated, although we're still staying on the positive side. The Dow's up 74 points, 1/3%, 22,754. S&P's up 1/3% as well. NASDAQ only ahead by 4 points. TSX is up 89 points, about 0.6% at 13,682. It would be a back-to-back win for these markets, but again, not much to write home about right now as far as the gains are concerned. Hurting the mood late in the session has been the price of oil, which dropped more than 9% today, down to $23.63 on concern that a recession and the lack of demand for crude will continue to hurt the energy market. Again, Dow's up 74 points right now. Canadian dollar up to 71.51 cents US. Top stories are next, right here on 680 News.
Of course, you always want to be there for your parents and grandparents, but when you can't be right there with them, Direct Alert by TELUS Health can be. This personal emergency response service gives your loved ones access to 24/7 support at the push of a button, and knowing they're taken care of takes some of the worry away. Direct Alert by TELUS Health is simple to install yourself, ships directly to you, and starts at $25 a month. Right now, you can save up to $180 a year on select plans. Visit directalert.ca for details.
You've suffered from anxiety and depression during this pandemic, and now your claim for disability is denied. My name is Aaron Waxman, and during this pandemic, we are open and working for our clients from our homes. If your disability claim is denied for any reason, call me at 416-661-4878 or pound LTD on your cell phone. And before you call, you should always remember that there are no bad questions. 416-661-4878 or pound LTD.
Downtown Toronto, partly cloudy and 13 degrees. 680 News is CFTR AM Toronto. It's 4 o'clock.
Number one for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
Here are James Monroe and Slajana Demented.
Good afternoon. It's Tuesday, April 7th.
Here's what you need to know right now. Thousands of masks delivered to Toronto's long-term care homes have been deemed substandard. An investigation now underway for possible COVID-19 exposures. Just under half of the COVID-19 related deaths in Ontario have been people in long-term care homes. NDP leader Andrea Horvath says more needs to be done to make the homes safer.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford singing the praises of Made in Ontario medical supplies.
This is what the workshop of Canada looks like.
To fight the COVID-19 crisis.
We make fully automatic AR-15s here, M16s. Here, we don't import those. We export those.
Closing bell, ringing on Wall Street. It's another day of gains. The Dow, very little change though at the Bell. TSX up 46, business at 26.
680 News Time 401.
Traffic and weather together, Kyle Hawkins.
This report brought to you by Hire the Gardener. We have a couple of construction spots on the highways right now, and that's pretty well it. One minor problem, eastbound 401 east of Nielsen in the collectors. Collision on the left shoulder, a bit of a precarious spot for this collision to be being cleaned up. So as you travel through this area, watch out for crews here. MTO is just rolling up to the scene. And we've also got, in fact, a new problem just coming in now, eastbound 401 east of the 400 in the Express. Right lane blocked by the MTO there, stalled vehicle on the shoulder in this case. You've got that issue east of the 400 Express and then east of Nielsen in the collectors. However, neither one causing much of a delay. On the westbound 401 from Harmony Road to west of Ritson, the left lane is blocked for emergency construction. They're still repairing a light standard after a collision that took place last night involving a transport that knocked down one of those light standards. So that's being repaired, but speeds look pretty good through this area. And also westbound QEW at Winston Churchill, left lane blocked for maintenance work there, but no delay in that area either. A couple of issues off the highways. One has changed. Eastbound Queen, fully reopened heading through Spadina after some construction crews cleared away. In Brampton, we've got Tompkin closed south of Steeles because of a collision investigation. Yes, you can still hire the gardener to keep your yard green. No, you don't have to come near them. Look at all the things the gardener can do for your yard at hirethegardener.com. That's hirethegardener.com. Your next report at 4:11, and with the forecast, meteorologist Natasha Ramsahai.
All right, we are looking at some rain here, starting in Toronto in a couple of hours, even though it's already started out through the West End. Pretty light in nature, around the 5-millimeter mark, but a risk of thunderstorms as you move back down to southwestern Ontario. Even severe storms possible down through Windsor. That's tonight. Here, though, it's still going to be damp in the morning as we wake up to 6 degrees. Some lingering drizzle for the first half of the day, and then the sun comes back in the afternoon with a high of 14 degrees. Tonight, we're down to a low of 6 degrees. It is currently 13 degrees at Pearson.
680 News Time 4:03.
Breaking news in the local war against COVID-19. A disturbing story from the city today. It's recalling tens of thousands of protective masks that were sent to workers in our long-term care homes. Turns out they were not up to standards.
680's Michelle Mackey joins us live with the latest. Michelle.
Yes, Lejana, more than 62,000 substandard masks were distributed to Toronto's long-term care homes on March 28th, 10 days ago. The City of Toronto says it made the discovery yesterday after receiving reports of ripping and tearing. Now, the recently purchased order, worth more than $200,000, is being returned, and the vendor has committed to a full refund. An investigation by the city now underway to determine how many employees in the city's long-term care homes were caring for a patient while wearing these masks, and if there was a possible exposure to COVID-19. Now, the loss of this inventory also marks for a significant shortfall in surgical masks for Toronto. So in the meantime, the city is retrieving its stockpile of surgical masks until a new appropriate grade mask can be purchased, which will happen on a priority basis. The Ford government has been contacted to help expedite this order. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Mackey.
This is 680 News. Ontario reporting another triple-digit batch of confirmed coronavirus cases, and there's growing concern about the safety of residents in long-term care homes.
The totals in the province are 4,726 confirmed cases, including 153 deaths. The number of outbreaks at long-term care homes has climbed to 51. there have been at least 69 COVID-19 related deaths of people who had been in those homes. NDP leader Andrea Horvath says long-term care is experiencing a perfect storm.
Abysmal understaffing, low pay, and employers that didn't want to give workers
It's a high school program. It's not
forcing staff to work in more than
That's why
one
they keep calling them
facility,
staff.
potentially bringing the virus from one long-term care home to another.
Among the
Not
changes, she is
nurses, not
calling for
doctors.
additional staff as well as pay increases. I'm Irene Precklett.
Yeah, hire
This
more,
is
I don't know.
680 News. Almost a month after COVID-19 was declared a pandemic, Ontario has managed to manufacture its own soon-to-be certified masks. 680's Mark Douglas joins us live with a proud moment for the province. Mark.
Yeah, that's right, Slajana. Ontario Premier Doug Ford sounding downright optimistic for a change in his daily news briefing. This after he personally picked up the first 1,000 medical masks made by Woodbridge Group in Vaughan.
This is what the workshop of Canada looks like.
Now, these are level 3 masks. They still have to be certified as good enough to be the highly coveted N95 masks. Ford also praising other Ontario businesses and schools, from Ontario Power Generation to the University of Guelph, for making or donating personal protective equipment supplies. Now, Ford has promised to make Ontario self-sufficient when it comes to those supplies, and while he today would still not commit to X number of weeks until that promise is kept.
It's a better day than it was yesterday, and I think every day moving forward, we're getting more masks, more items in, more people and businesses producing the gowns, for instance, and the face shields.
Ford says face shields are the item being produced the most in Ontario now by volunteer organizations and businesses, and he says hand
They don't need
sanitizer,
face
that
masks.
seems
You
to be
just
a
need to
good
make sure
supply.
nothing splashes
Ford
them in
says
the
getting
face.
surgical masks and N95s continues to be the greatest challenges. Reporting live, I'm Mark Douglas. This is 680 News. Thousands of companies across the country stepping up to help in the fight. The federal government has landed an agreement to produce a large number of ventilators.
Through this pandemic, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says the response from businesses has been overwhelming.
Almost 5,000 Canadian companies have stepped forward to help fight COVID-19. On behalf of all Canadians,
Yeah, they don't want to die.
Companies like Canada Goose, Stanfields, and many distilleries have altered their production lines to help create masks, gowns, and hand sanitizer when the country needs it the most. Trudeau says the federal government has also landed a deal with several medical companies to produce up to 30,000 ventilators, although he hopes we won't need that many. As Canadian companies step up to the plate, the Minister for Public Services and Procurement, Anita Anand, says the government's also continuing
We'll have
efforts
2
to acquire
ventilators to
equipment
each
from
patient
international
instead of 2
suppliers,
patients to
and
each
yesterday
ventilator.
received a massive shipment from China.
We received roughly 8 million surgical masks.
Feds also say on the first day of processing claims for the new Canada Emergency Benefit, they received more than 960,000 applications. That's equivalent to the amount of applications the government usually sees in 6 months for employment insurance. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
And that's only the first day.
Stateside, New York has reported its deadliest day yet. 680's Cam Dora joins us with the latest on that. Cam.
So, Jana, health experts say the plateau is almost here, but a quick look around the state shows a country in crisis. New York and New Jersey both saw their worst days yet, combining for 963 deaths. In Michigan, more than 2,000 health officials have been infected. And in Philadelphia, Mayor Jim Kenney says the city budget needs to be completely scrapped.
I can tell you that we anticipate the city will face substantial increase in expenditures.
This is going past Canada Day. This is going to Canada Day next year.
Spending, the likes of which have never been needed before.
The peak is still 10 days away in California, but health officials are optimistic and say the next week or two will be the hardest before the country begins to recover. The CDC director echoing that statement, saying the projected death toll of 200,000 could be much lower if Americans continue to stay home. And more breaking news, U.S. President Donald Trump seeking another $250 billion in funding, this time to help small businesses. Reporting live, I'm Cam Doritz.
Factual information from your trusted source. We're in this together. 680 News.
A message from Canadian Blood Services. Reason number 2 to join Canada's Lifeline. Donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days. That's why we need donors every day. There are lots of reasons to donate blood. Book now at blood.ca.
Tomorrow, next week, and next month, the need for blood is constant. Check your eligibility to donate and book now at blood.ca. Canadian Blood Services. Together, we are Canada's lifeline.
City streets, TTC track work at King and Shaw blocking all northbound, southbound lanes, and in Brampton, Tompkin closed in both
That's
directions.
the other thing. How does track work block all the lanes?
Investigation.
Tracks are in the middle.
Now, 680 News gas price update. Info predicts the price will rise a cent at midnight. Traffic and weather in 60 seconds.
This is 680 News.
Rise a
Dear
cent
Real
to
Canadian
something.
Superstore and
Thank
No
you.
Frills customers, starting April 16, flyers will be digital only. Please know that low price commitment is still the #1 priority, and they're still providing great weekly promotions and offers. Find them in store on superstore.ca, nofrills.ca, and in the PC Optimum app.
Hello, it's Jeff from Reliance Home Comfort.
See what you can do
We
with
know
milk.
things are uncertain
Put it
right
in
now,
cans,
but if
nails,
you need
throw it
furnace,
out.
hot water, or plumbing
See
help,
pricks.
we're here for you. Understanding the
You could have sold it to me
seriousness of the
6
current
months from now.
situation,
No.
we're taking great pains to make sure that any
You're
visit
smarter
to your
than me.
home is safe for you as well as our Reliance team
What
members.
are you going to do
So
next
if
month?
you find
The
yourself
exact
in
same
need of a
thing. You're
heating
going
or
to try to sell me
plumbing
something I'm not
professional,
going to buy.
we're here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. As always, when you need help you can trust, just call on Reliance.
Dear Real Canadian Superstore and No Frills customers, starting April 16, flyers will be digital only. Please know that low price commitment is still the #1 priority, and they're still providing great weekly promotions and offers. Find them in store on superstore.ca, nofrills.ca, and in the PC Optimum app. 680 News Time 411.
Traffic and weather together, Kyle.
This report brought to you by 407 ETR. A couple of minor issues on the eastbound 401. First of all, east of the 400 in the express, the right lane's blocked by the MTO. There's a stalled vehicle on the shoulder, it looks like. And we do have other crews on scene as well.
MTO all of a sudden
this
is
is
all
just
over the
before the
fucking place.
transfer from the express into the
You know they've
collectors. So
done
the
the
right
fucking
lane they're
vehicles.
blocking is actually that transfer lane that would go into those collector lanes via the transfer. No delay through this area. And then we have eastbound 401 minor issue east of Nielsen in the collectors. Just a collision on the left shoulder with a tow truck on scene. No delay in either case. Westbound 401, you'll find emergency construction from Harmony Road to west of Ritson. The left lane is blocked. It's in relation to that collision that took place late last night with a transport that knocked down a light standard. So they're still on scene repairing that. So speeds look pretty good there. And we do still have maintenance on the westbound QEW through Winston Churchill. Again, the left lane is blocked, but no speed issues in this area either. There's a serious issue off the highways in Brampton. Tompkin is closed south of Steeles and Advance. The intersection, in fact, is closed for a block in all directions after a cyclist was struck. So we've got a collision investigation taking place there. Avoid Tompkin south of Steeles. We have as well a closure of John north of Queen. That's because of a broken water main. 407 ETR would like to thank all the healthcare workers and essential services who are working tirelessly for our communities through difficult times. 407etr.com. Stay safe. Your next report at 421, and with the forecast, here's meteorologist Natasha Ramsahai.
All right, temperatures still above seasonal for at least another day. We're down to about 6 degrees tonight. We've seen some showers out through the west end. We are going to be into some rain here in Toronto in another couple of hours. And it's going to be light rain overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. I'm going to up the amounts a little bit, going with 4 to 8 millimeters. And a couple of spots could tip to 10, but it's really going to be severe storms, more so down through Windsor tonight. Tomorrow morning after some drizzle, we'll get into some sun in the afternoon, and 14 degrees, second round of light rain Wednesday night into Thursday morning. This one will be just a couple of millimeters. Thursday afternoon, mainly cloudy, very windy, and a high of 9. Tonight we're dropping to 6 degrees for the low. It is currently 13 degrees at Pearson.
Now the Dynamic Funds Market Minute to the Business Center, Richie.
Hey, James, what was a solid rally for stocks just about fizzled in the last few minutes of trade. Here are the closing numbers. The TSX did manage a gain, but it was up only 21 points. TSX up 21 to 13,614. Wall Street ended marginally lower. The Dow falling 26 points, about 0.1% to 22,653. S&P 500 down 4 points. The Nasdaq fell 25 points, or 1/3 of 1%. A lot of this had to do with oil, which really sold off late in the session, down another 9+% to $23.63. Gold was down as well, $10 to 1,683 US dollars the ounce. Canadian dollars higher, it's up to 71.42 cents US. That's your market minute. This is 680 News.
What's the cost of investing without advice? That's a great question. Speak to a financial advisor today and visit dynamic.ca/advice to find out why advice matters.
I'm here with Bill Coy of Coy Brothers, and we're talking about Coy Brothers 1 and Coy Brothers 2.
One's bricks and mortar, and the second is our online store.
I hear both are equally as great, except if I shop online, I can't see you, Bill.
That's a shame. But online, we're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We offer the largest selection of power equipment around.
What about work gloves and safety glasses?
Yes, sir, and brand names you love.
Like Steel and Kubota, all from Coy
I need a
Brothers.
goalie mask when I don't play hockey.
KOS.com.
1877.
All of a sudden, all these assholes have been telling for years, why are you spitting at me? Why are you coughing in your hand? They're telling me hygiene rules. Get the fuck out of here.
Online at carsforkids.ca. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll benefit a child and get a maximum tax credit.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car.
Also accepting boats, motorcycles, RVs, and truck donations.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
Overcast in downtown Toronto, 13 degrees at Pearson. Good afternoon from the 680 News Broadcast Center. I'm James Monroe.
I'm Slijana Timmins. Secure the top stories right now.
More than 60,000 protective masks. That's the subject of a recall by the City of Toronto. They were not up to standards, but yet were sent to workers in our long-term care homes.
This comes amid a proud moment for the province in the war against COVID-19 today, as the first soon-to-be certified protective masks roll off the line at a plant in Woodbridge.
More than 500 Ontario healthcare workers have tested positive for coronavirus. That's more than 10% of the total.
For these stories and more, go to 680news.com.
More numbers I didn't know.
Time now for 680 Sports. Here's Alex.
See, I got the car. I got everything ready when I knew this was top of the hour. Time to check in,
Baseball is
right?
looking at starting their season in Arizona at Chase Field and 10 spring
These are
training
dreams.
sites. ESPN's Jeff Passan says this could be off the ground in May, but many stumbling
Why don't you
blocks
build
are
a
in the way,
super secret
including
underground
other players
colony?
want to
Just put all the
quarantine
basketball
themselves away from
players
their
in it.
families. Major League Baseball says they are looking at many options, but nothing
And you could
is close to
film
being
all
decided.
the
20
drama,
teams looked
the
at it
tension,
meanwhile,
the
but Alexander
living in a
Barabanov
underground
has chosen Toronto. The Leafs have signed a Russian
basketball
forward
race.
to a one-year
Call it.
deal. Barabanov had 66 points over the last 2 seasons in the KHL. A pair of postponements to pass along. The start of the CFL regular season has been delayed, while the F1 Canadian Grand Prix set for June in Montreal has also been postponed. And Dana White saying that he is close to securing a private island to host UFC fights. That is legit, real news. White says the location would host this month's UFC 249 and weekly fights over the next couple of months.
So
Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590.
This is 680 News.
For 200 years we were slaves, until God himself took us out of Egypt with a mighty hand. This week, the 8-day festival of Passover begins. It marks the liberation of the Jewish nation from Egyptian
I
bondage.
put the blood in my door with the COVID pass over my house.
The first 2 nights are observed with ritually laden family feasts. Most important, the mitzvah of eating matzah and taking part in relating the biblical narrative of our Exodus. As always, Chabad Lubavitch, along with our 3,000 affiliate branches around the world, are here to help with all your holiday needs. Whether you wish to sell your chametz, obtain round hand-baked shmura matzah, call or visit us at www.chabad.ca. Steele's Memorial Chapel wishes you a joyous and meaningful Pesach.
This is 680 News. The Mayor of Brampton has put out a call to the province to let foreign-trained doctors join the fight. And the province agrees the additional help would mean a lot. But 680's Mo Qureshi is here with the latest on how individuals who have the medical training but aren't licensed in Canada may be able to help.
As we get deeper into this pandemic, Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown says it's time to get all hands on deck and allow foreign-trained doctors to be given a shot to serve on the front lines right now.
At a time of a crisis like this, where the lives of our friends and neighbors and loved ones are at risk,
They can't fuck shit up any worse, can they?
to check concerns over the health budget at the door and make sure that we can protect lives and we have physicians who can help.
Today, the province putting out a call asking for anyone with medical training to step up and be part of the fight against COVID-19, saying yes, that does include foreign-trained doctors.
We certainly are looking at people who are trained in other jurisdictions, as well as retired people, students, and so on. And what we're trying to do is match the employer's needs with the skill set of the person that's coming forward.
The province has put up a web form for anybody with experience who's interested in helping. You can find a link at 680news.com. I'm Mo Qureshi.
Celebrity doctor Dr. Drew admitting he gave a wrong diagnosis about COVID-19. Drew Pinsky's apology comes after many of his comments were posted online.
My early comments about equating coronavirus with influenza were wrong. They were incorrect. I was part of a chorus that was saying that, and we were wrong. And I want to apologize for that. I wish I got it right, but I got it wrong.
So what is
from appearances they
the
made over the
correct
past
version,
couple months,
buddy?
Pinsky said things like a person was more likely to be struck by an asteroid than die of COVID-19. This is All News Radio 680 News, traffic and weather together
Well,
next.
technically,
Hi,
I didn't die from it.
Our family has been proud to serve Ontarians for over 60 years. And like your family, we're doing our best to stay positive during these challenging
Fuck
times.
you. You don't know my
I'd like to
fucking
thank all our
family,
team
buddy. Shut the
members
fuck
for their
up.
continued
Shut
commitment
up.
to serving
I'm
our
gonna treat you
community.
like my family
And
would
I'm
treat
grateful
you.
to our loyal guests for being patient with us and with each other while we do our best to keep our shelves stocked, our stores clean, and our community safe. Even though we're all trying to keep our distance, I hope this experience will bring us all
that's like
closer
my
together. Thank you.
don't know.
In times like these, shouldn't your money work even harder for you? We think so. That's why at Duca Credit Union, you get no-fee checking accounts. You also get high interest on deposits and investments, and low mortgage rates. Plus, you get to share in the profits. That's the Duca difference. And now we're offering 2.5% interest on your savings until March 31st, 2021. Find out how at earnmore.duca.com. Do more, be more, achieve more with Duca Credit Union. Conditions apply.
680 News Time, 421 traffic and weather together. Pat Hawkins.
This report brought to you by City TV. We've got just two minor problems on the eastbound 401 and then a couple of spots of construction, and that's pretty well all for your drive. It's a fairly smooth run right now. On the eastbound 401, east of the 400 Express, MTO crews are blocking the right lane because of a problem on the shoulder. And then we've got east of Nielsen in the collectors, the left shoulder occupied with another collision here. So two minor problems and no delays through either one on the east 401. Westbound 401, you'll come across a spot of construction in the Oshawa area. From Harmony Road to west of Ritson, the left lane is blocked because of a collision that took place last night with a transport that damaged a light standard, which is being repaired as we speak. There's no delays through that construction zone. And then we have maintenance on the west QEW through Winston Churchill. That's also blocking the left lane, but no delay there either. It looks like a construction-related delays both directions on Finch heading through Kiel, just west of Kiel, because of construction. And we've also got the intersection of Tompkin and Advance, which is south of Steeles, is closed for a block in all directions. Tompkin south of Steeles because a cyclist was struck there, and now an investigation is taking place. Get the latest news affecting our community every night on City News at 6 and 11, only on City TV. Your next report at 4:31, and with the extended forecast, meteorologist Natasha Ramsahai.
All right, so it is going to get cooler here as we go through the week, and we've got a couple of rounds of showers to deal with. One has been impacting especially the west end of the GTA so far, sort of like west downtown westward with light showers. It's going to be a little bit more persistent after about 6 p.m., 7 p.m. We'll get into light rain overnight tonight into tomorrow morning as we drop to 6 degrees. This is about 4 to 8 millimeters. It'll taper off just after lunch. We'll get into some sun and a high of 14 degrees. Second round of showers with another few millimeters comes in Wednesday night into Thursday morning. By Thursday afternoon, it's mainly cloudy, very windy, seasonal temps at 9, but how about some wet flurries mixing in Thursday night? And it looks like those wet flurries will be in play even here in the city early Friday morning. The afternoon overcast, still very gusty and a high of 6 degrees. Tonight we're down to a low of 6 degrees. Right now it is 13 degrees at Pearson.
Coming up the bottom of the hour, more than 60,000 protective masks, the subject of a recall by the city of Toronto that were not up to snuff, were sent to workers in our long-term care homes. And this just into 680 News from Brampton. A cyclist has been rushed to hospital after they were hit by a transport truck. Peel police say it happened at West Creek Boulevard and Advance Boulevard. Around 3 o'clock, cyclists suffering life-threatening injuries. Road closures in the area. Traffic and weather on the way.
You knew an hour ago.
680 News.
Cancer connects us all. We all have a story to tell.
I was 13 years old when I first heard the word cancer.
Being diagnosed with colon cancer was an overwhelming shock.
I'm Eric McCormack. Research, including clinical trials, helps to change the story for cancer patients across Canada.
I am now 9 years cancer-free.
Join Stand Up to Cancer Canada and the Canadian Cancer Society to learn more about the groundbreaking research that translates into life-saving treatments. Visit standuptocancer.ca/CCS to learn more.
What you need to know.
Breaking news.
It's a massive weather system we're watching, spanning from Texas to the Maritimes. Traffic.
Just pull over Highway
400 and southbound 400 slow approaching Test in the south of Rutherford. Bit of snow coming down through there. Weather.
This moisture-laden Texas low has triggered widespread rainfall warnings across the GTA.
When you need to know.
We're here.
This is 680 News.
Pepper Ford says the Easter Bunny will be allowed to work.
The kids have like simple things that they're worried about. They're worried about, I've heard the Tooth Fairy. They've heard about the Easter Bunny, and I've seen what New Zealand has done. I heard the mayor this morning too. So the kids, the Easter Bunny has become an essential service.
The Premier also reminding families to stay home, of course, for Easter and Passover. Business next. This is 680 News.
We're two men in a truck. So
I thought staying home was part of
all
Passover.
that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well,
I
naturally,
don't know,
you
but I
think
thought that was
two
part
men
of
in a
it.
truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're two men in a truck. We're open for business. Two men in a truck, the movers who care.
Hey guys, it's never a good look when you untuck a long bulky dress shirt. It just looks sloppy. That's why Untuck It makes shirts specifically designed to be worn untucked. And not only do they look good, they feel great too. Untuck It offers 50 fit combinations, so tall, short, slim, and bigger guys can experience the perfect fitting shirt. While our stores are temporarily closed, please go to untuckit.ca where you can browse and purchase from our extensive new spring line. Use promo code Canada for 20% off your entire first purchase.
Mr. Ford, please don't ever let this business be anything like essential.
680 News Time 426, now 680 Business Report from the Midtown Home Office. Richard.
Shirts that don't have to be tucked in. I think those are called T-shirts, bro. They didn't even put a word. It's a letter. T. Very simple. T-shirt. If you drop the word shirt, you can say T. I'm wearing a T. Oh, it's not tucked in, is it? Oh,
Main Street did hang on the plus side. The TSX closing up 21 points to 13,614. The Dow erased what at one point in the day was a gain of more than 900 points to close down 26. Dow fell 26 points to 22,653. S&P was down 4 points, and the NASDAQ fell 25. At that price for oil down more than 9%, $23.63. U.S. Energy Information Agency lowering its U.S. and global demand forecast for crude. So that kind of weighed on the mood late in the session. Still, things are still looking better as far as the stock situation is concerned. In the past 10 trading days alone, the TSX is up about 20% from its March 23rd low. But, investors say they are very wary of any upsurge. After all, economists say a punishing recession is pretty much inevitable. Wolfgang Klein, Canaccord Genuity.
Without question,
this guy's real
market. And the market sold off so quickly with such velocity and depth that at some point you have to think the other way. It's a reflexive rebound. The question is how much more is in it. I will say technically, the market is above its 20-day moving average. And that is the first time it's been above that number since the crisis began. A lot of technicians will use that as an early sign of an improving market.
Stocks on the move today included Air Canada. It was up 10% to $16.68.
Yeah, when it's time to stop buying.
Carnival Cruise Lines, badly beaten up name, gained 10.3% today after Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund bought an 8.2% stake in the cruise line.
Yeah, but they got money to burn.
Carnival still down about 80% year to date. Shares of Wayfair up another 8.25% after jumping 41% yesterday. Wayfair getting an upgrade at Bank of America today.
The hotels are being turned into homeless shelters and quarantine zones.
To 1,680
government income.
U.S. dollars the ounce. Again, TSX managing at just a 21.
You still get to sell alcohol. You still get to call yourself a hotel.
On the session. Canadian dollars higher at 71.45 cents U.S. And the top stories are next right here on
Cabs
680
and limos
News.
parked out front all the time. Strange people
Public health
driving
experts
strange
are
cars
taking
in and out.
action to protect Canadians from COVID-19. Protect yourself
That's
and
what they
others,
fucking did.
especially those with medical conditions and older adults. Wash your hands often. Avoid touching your face. Cough or sneeze into your arm and disinfect surfaces. You should also avoid crowded
You
places.
disinfect these
Avoid
surfaces. I'm going to
non-essential
cough all
travel.
over them
And if
again.
you're sick, stay home. To learn more, call
stay out of my home.
1-833-784-4397. A message
I'll
from the
put you
Government
back
of
in
Canada.
14-day self-isolation,
In
buddy.
times like these, shouldn't your money work even harder for you? We think so. That's why at Duca Credit Union, you get no-fee checking accounts. You also get high interest on deposits and investments, and low mortgage rates. Plus, you get to share in the profits. That's the Duca difference. And now we're offering 2.5% interest on your savings until March 31st, 2021. Find out how at earnmore.duca.com. Do more, be more, achieve more with Duca Credit Union. Conditions apply.
It's 4:30.
Number one for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
I want anybody to think you missed the beat.
And James Monroe.
Don't miss the beat. Don't talk over the commercial, but don't miss the beat.
Here's what's making news right now.
That's the military beat.
Hospital after being hit by a
Commissioned by the
transport
Queen, I
truck on
think.
Tompkins south of Steeles. Thousands of masks for Toronto's long-term care homes have been recalled.
The mask order did not meet the city standards and specs.
They were
You might as well have been
10
wearing a
days ago.
bandana.
Made in Ontario solutions to the COVID-19 crisis.
You make everything here.
Picked up the first batch.
You make
of medical
wine here.
masks.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford
Or you
says
make wine in
today
California,
is
you don't make
better
ice
than
wine.
yesterday.
Health experts say the
Motherfucker.
pandemic is starting to peak stateside despite almost 1,000 new deaths between New York and New Jersey in just 24 hours.
Leafs head coach Sheldon Keefe, a big believer in Rasmus Sandin. Maple Leafs did make some news this morning, and what baseball's plan to return could look like. Sports 45.
From not being able to pick asparagus to pouring milk down the drain, we're looking at the challenges now facing Ontario farmers.
Oh yeah, this is how Canada's set up to deal with emergencies. Throw the food away! Throw the food away!
Traffic and weather together on the ones brought to you by the Government of Ontario, Airborne, and Shopper 680. Here's Jordan Kerr.
It's definitely a quiet drive. A couple of little issues on the go. Eastbound 401, east of the 400 in the Express, and the right lane MTO Cruise dealing with a stalled vehicle, so watch out for that. Luckily, not causing a slowdown. Eastbound 401 east of Nielsen and the Collectors, problems just cleared away. And westbound 401 from Harmony to west of Ritson, left lane blocked off for emergency roadwork. They're repairing White Standard after a crash that happened last night. From the 680 Traffic Center, here's Kyle Hawking. The big issue on city streets is in
Tomorrow
Brampton.
they'll never
Tompkins
mention it
closed
again.
at the Steeles after that collision involving a cyclist in a transport truck. So an investigation going on there. Avoid Tompkins south of Steeles. We've also got maintenance work on Finch west of Kiel, both directions seeing delays because of lane restrictions for this maintenance project. Stop the spread. COVID-19 can be deadly. The time to act is now. Stay home and save lives.
Evil.
Visit ontario.ca/coronavirus, paid for by the Government of Ontario. Your next report at 4:41, and with the forecast, meteorologist Natasha Ramsahai.
All right, a couple of showers out through the west end so far. All of the GTA, 4 to 8 millimeters of rain tonight, overnight into tomorrow morning. We'll taper to drizzle for the first half of tomorrow, but it's not until the afternoon that we'll dry out, get back into a little bit of sunshine, and still above seasonal at 14 degrees. Tonight we're down to a low of 6 degrees. It is now 13 degrees at Pearson.
This is 680 News.
The city of Toronto is recalling tens of thousands of substandard surgical masks that were distributed to long-term care homes. This comes as more cases and deaths related to COVID-19 are being reported at these facilities. We'll have more on that in a moment.
680's Michelle Mackey joins us live with the details. Michelle.
Yeah, James, the discovery was made following reports of the masks ripping and tearing. Fire Chief Matthew Pegg says the city of Toronto immediately took action and made a recall.
Late yesterday afternoon, the city of Toronto discovered that we had purchased more than $200,000 worth of surgical masks that do not meet the specifications the city requires.
This equates to more than 62,000 masks distributed to Toronto's long-term care homes 10 days ago.
Why are these
The
masks
city's
so-
occupational health and safety team is now investigating.
To determine how many employees may have used these masks and if there was possible exposure to COVID-19 as a result.
Chief Pegg assures that the masks are being returned and the vendor has committed to a full refund.
Who's the
As a
vendor?
result, the city is now relying on its current stock until new appropriate grade masks can be purchased. The provincial government has been contacted to help expedite the order. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Mackey.
The latest data on the spread of
This guy's
COVID-19
trying to
reveals
rip
the
us off.
province's
Oh,
nursing
really?
homes are bearing the brunt of the deadly virus. Here's 680's
What's
Irene
wrong,
Franklin.
you know?
Ontario is
Ontario,
reporting
dog.
379 new cases of COVID-19 today, including 21 more deaths. Of the 153 total deaths, at least 69 have been at long-term care homes. The number of outbreaks at long-term care homes has climbed to 51. NDP leader Andrea Horvath says the government should be doing more right away.
Aggressively recruiting home care and long-term care staff. Mandating that more staff be scheduled on each shift in each long-term care home. Immediately increasing salaries for staff to a minimum of $22 per hour.
She's also calling on limiting the number of facilities a person can work at to one so the virus is not spread. I'm Irene Frecklett.
Ford showed up at a Woodbridge manufacturing facility today with the first 1,000 protective masks, soon to be certified, have been produced. 680's Mark Douglas joins us live with the latest on a Made in Ontario solution. Mark.
And when it comes to fighting the spread of COVID-19, James, the Premier of Ontario was full of praise today.
And earlier today, I personally picked up the first batch of medical masks made right here in Ontario by Woodbridge.
You pick them up and lick them and sneeze on them?
These masks will be made here in the millions.
And those masks made in Vaughan still need to be certified as N95 level masks, the kind they got that recently saw the U.S., Canada, and 3M getting into a spat at the border. Premier Doug Ford says, well, getting the 3M issue resolved is a really great step forward. We still can't rely on other countries.
We need to look after ourselves. We need to be self-sufficient.
And that's a promise that Ford made earlier in another news conference, but Ford will not commit today to a timeline.
What do you think I'm not? Somebody's trying to rob the coffee shop. Come get them. No, the sewers are dirty and you need to come clean. It's not going to happen. Nobody's coming to help. Nobody's coming to help.
Want to volunteer or have a product, we will get to you. And it's just the sheer volume. It's amazing how the people and the businesses in this community in Ontario have just stepped up. And
Ford says N95 and surgical masks are still the greatest challenge for this province. Reporting live, I'm Mark Douglas.
The federal government has ordered 30,000 new ventilators from Canadian companies, but the Prime Minister is hoping that's far more than hospitals will actually end up needing. Here's 680's Parliament Hill reporter Cormac McSweeney.
As concerns grow about shortages of items like masks, gowns, and hand sanitizer, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says 5,000 companies across the country have answered the federal call and offered to start producing millions of these much-needed items. Companies such as Canada Goose, Stanfield's, and many breweries and distilleries. Trudeau says the feds have also landed a deal with several health companies to produce up to 30,000 ventilators.
We know that creating these is going to be extremely important to be able to handle the future paths of this epidemic.
But the government's still looking outside our borders for equipment, receiving a shipment of 8 million surgical masks from China yesterday, and it's expecting more from 3M after the company struck a deal with the Trump administration to continue exports to Canada. 500,000
masks from 3M tomorrow. And we're working as fast as we can to get them to our frontline workers.
Meanwhile, the government says on the first day of processing, more than 960,000 Canadians successfully applied for the new emergency response benefit. Hundreds of thousands of more are expected throughout the week. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
This is 680 News. The mayor of Brampton has put out a call to the province to let foreign-trained doctors join the fight.
Oh, because I know my people here. If they say they're going to make $1 million of them, they're going to make $10 million, there are $100 million, and it's going to be extra. Tons extra.
Brown says now's the time to allow
everybody's going to have 2 or 3 masks on because there's so many. They're handing them out.
The fight against this pandemic, saying we should follow the lead of places that have already made this type of exception.
We have the trees here. We don't have to count them. Your business over the trees are cut down.
Mr. Christine Elliott says the province is putting out the call for anyone with medical training, be it retired doctors and nurses, students, and yes, foreign-trained doctors to step up and help out.
They may or may not, depending on their skill sets, their experience, and so on, be able to practice medicine, but they will certainly have a place within our healthcare system. As the Premier said, we do need all hands on deck at this point.
If you have medical training and want to help out, the province has put up an online portal where you can let them know. I'm Omen Qureshi.
This is 680 News. It has been the deadliest day so far in New York State. More than 700 people have died over the last 24 hours due to COVID-19. But there are signs the outbreak could be leveling off there. 680's Cam Dorrit joins us with the latest. Cam.
So, Jenna, health officials say New York is just a day away from its pandemic peak, but it hardly feels like it.
How do you know that?
Physical distancing needs to stay in place indefinitely.
You're not other people yet. 700 a day is still not everybody.
And it kills vulnerable people. That's what it does.
No, it kills everything. You can't use those words because people are listening. It kills everybody.
The question is, are you saving everyone you can save?
The director of the CDC, meanwhile, says people need to stay home, but the message was not received in Milwaukee. Wisconsin became the only state to still hold its primary today. And so many poll workers quitting, the state was forced to consolidate 180 stations into 5. Pictures showed thousands of people lined up around city blocks waiting to vote. Not the best for physical distancing. Reporting live, I'm Cam Doritz.
You'll hear it here.
Breaking news. What happened?
On 680 News. It's one.
Screw you. I'm going out to vote. Fuck your virus.
Don't miss the incredible $6.8 million grand prize, our world-famous early bird prize, and the $1.1 million Prince Edward County grand prize. A gorgeous country home located near sandy beaches, picturesque vineyards, and beautiful trails. It comes fully decorated and with $25,000 cash. The county is calling. Buy now at PrincessMargaretLotto.com.
City streets eastbound Finch down to 1 lane from Sentinel to Kiel for construction. Traffic is heavy through that stretch. In Brampton, Tompkin is closed both ways south of Steeles for a collision investigation. Now the 680 News gas price update. And Pro predicting the price will increase the cent at midnight to just under 80 cents a liter.
680 News time, 440.
Something's always coming up. Home improvements, kids' education, car repairs, credit card bills. Maybe you even saw a real deal on an investment property. Well, don't wait for the money to fall from the sky. Call Northwood Mortgage and start taking care of business. Use your home to save money. Pay off your mortgage faster. See why Canadians have turned to Northwood Mortgage for over a quarter of a century. Northwood Mortgage. Visit NorthwoodMortgage.com. License 10349.
At Sleep Country, we know the importance of sleep, especially at times like these. That's why our sleep experts are now available online at sleepcountry.ca to chat with you about your changing sleeping needs. From making
Are you only available from like 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. though?
A more comfortable sleeping environment. Our sleep experts are here to help you 7 days a week, and deliveries are free on any online purchase.
7
Sleep
days.
well and stay well.
Give me a 1-800 number, bitch. Damn it.
680 News time, 441.
Traffic and weather together on the one.
I have not slept in 14 weeks.
A couple of minor issues.
The shadow people won't leave me alone.
Eastbound 401,
I need a bed that is shadow people approved.
Cruise on the right shoulder. There's
Do
a
you
small
have
transport
this?
truck, heavy tow on scene. We checked with the MTO. It doesn't have a shifted load. They're just waiting to get it fixed up, and they can tow it out of there. On the westbound 401, from Harmony to west of Ritson, the left lane's closed down. That's all because of emergency construction. They're doing repairs to a light stander that was damaged in a rollover that happened last night. That's long gone. They cleared it up this morning, but they're back this afternoon to do some repairs. Luckily, not causing any delays. From the 680 Traffic Center, here's Kyle Hawking.
A couple of areas of concern on city streets. In Brampton, Tompkin is closed south of Steeles after a collision involving a cyclist and a transport truck. So a major collision bureau on the scene here. Closed, Tompkin is at Advance. It's closed for a block in all directions. So certainly avoid that area, Tompkin south of Steeles. We also have construction eastbound on Finch from Sentinel to Kiel. It's down to a single lane for maintenance. It is slow heading eastbound through this construction zone. It pays to open a CIBC Smart account, earn $300, and pay no monthly fee for up to 12 months when you open a new account. Conditions apply.
Yeah, but after that,
reported 451, and with the forecast, meteorologist Natasha Ramsahai.
You're telling me a year ahead of time they're going to take money
so if
from
you
me. I'm
haven't run
not
into
even
patio
going to play
cushions
that
yet,
game.
do so. Although we've already seen those showers in the West End, all of the GTA in for about 4 to 8 millimeters of rain. Overnight tonight, we are closely watching southwestern Ontario. I know they're not really in our region, our listening area, but down to Windsor, potentially some severe storms expected there tonight. Tomorrow morning here in the city, some drizzle and then some sun in the afternoon with a high of 14 degrees, and then a second round of rain, another few millimeters Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Mainly cloudy, very windy, and a high of 9 degrees. Overnight tonight, we're down to a low of 6 degrees. It is now 13 degrees out at Pearson.
Now the Dynamic Funds Market Minute to the Business Center. Here's Richard Southern.
East Legenda, the TSX managed a gain of just 21 points. Little change to 13,614. And a big reversal of fortunes today. Stocks gave up what were robust gains early in the session to close rather weak. The Dow actually gave up a 937-point gain to close down. falling 26 points. Dow down 26 to 22,653. S&P down 4 points. NASDAQ fell 25 points. A late day sell-off for oil certainly hurt the mood. Texas tea down $2.45 to $23.63 the barrel. But still have the Canadian dollar trending upwards, though, at 71.48 cents U.S. Headlines and more next on 680 News.
Research shows that investors who work with a financial advisor accumulate 3.9 times more assets than those who don't. Learn more at dynamic.ca/advice. As an essential service, Roto-Rooter wants you to know that they remain ready to help you with any of your drain, plumbing, or disinfection needs. Thank you for understanding.
You guys have that
take
camera
preventative measures
inspection?
to ensure everyone's health is a top priority.
They must.
Contact them at rotorooter.com.
They're not going in
Tom Kiki here of Inline Fiberglass Windows and Doors. I am proud to be living and working here in the Greater Toronto area. All of us are so lucky and blessed to be part of this strong community,
sewers and
province,
drains,
and country. At this time, I feel it is important to remind all our friends, family, and employees to keep an eye on one another, especially the most vulnerable. Let's also come together in support of the heroes on the front lines. Together, we will get through this. Thank you.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
It's functional right up there.
13 degrees in downtown Toronto. Good afternoon from the 680 News Broadcast Center. I'm Slojana Tuminsik.
And I'm James Monroe. Here's what's making news right now.
The city of Toronto recalling tens of thousands of substandard surgical masks that were distributed to long-term care homes. The province is a step closer to making its own much-needed protective equipment after a GTA company manufactured the first batch of soon-to-be certified masks. And the province has put out a call to individuals with foreign medical training to help out in the current situation.
That's
that
why
link
we need
is
the
on our website at 680news.com.
Time now for 680 Sports.
From Sportsnet 590, the fan, here's Alex Xero.
Well, some like the idea, while others flat out hate it. But ESPN's Jeff Passan told Writer's Block it's at least worth discussing.
The first step may be the one that derails the whole thing, Jeff. If they can't get the players on board, this isn't happening. I think it's going to be up to union leadership that believes in the short term this is the clearest path to be played to get players on board here. And from what I've heard, it is a complete mixed bag at this point, as one might expect.
Passan reporting today that Major League Baseball is talking about opening their season in Arizona, possibly as early as May. Meantime, Alexander Barabanov is leaving the KHL after 7 seasons. The Russian winger has signed with the Maple Leafs on a 1-year deal. Other hockey news, a young Edmonton Oiler is fighting for his life at Sunnybrook Hospital. According to the team, 25-year-old Colby Cave suffered a brain bleed and has been placed in a medically induced coma. And the CFL season will not begin on time. June 11th was supposed to be opening night, but the league is holding off on play until at least the beginning of July. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590.
I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat.
I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink.
The Scott Mission has been helping Toronto's hungry and homeless since 1941. And this Easter, they really need your help, especially during these uncertain times. You can provide a meal for just $4.25 and ensure that everyone who comes to the Scott Mission is warmly welcomed by people who care. Make your gift online today at scottmission.com/hope or call 416-923-2400.
At Tim Hortons, we're proud to serve all of our communities across Canada. So we've made changes to serve you better in times like these. That's why our drive-thrus are ready to take your order with minimal contact. Tim Hortons, proudly serving our communities.
Breaking news from Brampton, where a cyclist is fighting for his life in hospital. He was hit by a transport truck earlier this afternoon. It happened around 3 on Tompkins, south of Steeles. Police say the man suffered life-threatening injuries. There are road closures in the area as the investigation continues. Amazon is now helping to distribute medical equipment in Canada at cost, but there are some concerns. Under the deal, Amazon Canada will help move things like masks, gloves, and ventilators purchased by the Canadian government. Now, the value of the deal is not known, but we have been told Amazon Canada is providing the service at cost without profit. The company will work collaboratively with the Canadian government to manage orders through its online Amazon business store, but it will also use its Canadian distribution network, which includes Canada Post and Purolator. The Canadian Union of Postal Workers has written to the federal government to express concerns about things like labor rights,
Did they deliver the letter they wrote?
Safety worries. At the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker. The lockdown that served as a model for countries battling the coronavirus around the world has ended. After 11 weeks, Chinese authorities are now allowing residents of Wuhan to once again travel into and out of the sprawling city where the pandemic began. Starting after midnight, the city's 11 million residents are permitted to leave without special authorization as long as a mandatory smartphone application shows they are healthy and have not been in recent contact with anyone confirmed to have the virus.
You got to be able to
This is 680 News. Premier Doug Ford is telling people to stop dropping off clothes and toys to donation bins across the province. Charities can't empty those boxes right now.
People are using them, to clean up the garage, start dumping everything in these boxes. So please, they've asked me to mention, do not drop anything else off there because every box you go by just
it's not the companies cleaning it up. We're cleaning that up.
Full of different items outside.
It's all fucking textiles, shit, and ripped bags.
The report is also pleading
black
with people
bags
to
you
stop
can't
tossing
see, and
their
somebody
used masks
invariably
and gloves
rips it
on the
open to see what it is.
and in parks. Traffic and weather together next.
680 News Time, 4:50.
Then it rains, shit gets wet. It's gonna rain. Why are you dumping out clothes and books and crap now in the fucking rain?
To the vulnerable during COVID-19.
Who's gonna pick it up? Nobody's gonna bring that shit over to the kids.
To impact our communities across the nation.
Fucking dummies.
The Salvation Army is adjusting its programs
There's kids'
and
books all over the fucking place. Why?
and hope to those who need it most.
Why are you leaving that shit laying
Join us
around?
and support our neighbors in need. To donate, visit salvationarmy.ca or call 1-800-SAL-ARMY.
Of course, you always want to be there for your parents and grandparents, but when you can't be right there with them, Direct Alert by TELUS Health can be. This personal emergency response service gives your loved ones access to 24/7 support at the push of a button, and knowing they're taken care of takes some of the worry away. Direct Alert by TELUS Health is simple to install yourself, ships directly to you, and starts at $25 a month. Right now, you can save up to $180 a year on select plans. Visit directalert.ca for details.
680 News Time, 4:51.
Traffic and weather together on the West, brought to you by the Government of Ontario and Chopper 680. Here's Jordan Kerr.
I'm Brandon flying over this closure of Tomkin, all because of that cyclist struck by the transport truck. We have Tomkin closed down south of Steeles between Wilkinson and Steelwell. Right now, if you're on north or southbound Tomkin, take Wilkinson around. You'll come out on the other side of the closure. Do not turn onto Advance because Advance is closed through the intersection as well. You'll just be turned around. So if you're on Tomkin, you'll be forced onto either Wilkinson or Steelwell. Just follow them around the closure. There's just a detour in place. It's pretty easy. Just plan ahead. It looks like it'll be closed for a while longer. The transport truck's still on scene, and a major collision bureau on scene as well. They're investigating in the intersection. Luckily, the delay is not bad. From the 680 traffic
Luckily,
center,
Luckily, the cyclist is still alive. Luckily, the delay is not bad.
East to the 480 Express has been towed away, so all lanes open there. No other problems.
You die in this province. Better not block the
Westbound
active
401,
lane.
Harmony Road to west of Ritson. The left lane is closed for emergency construction. Crews are repairing a light standard damaged in a crash last night, and no delay through that area either. And we just had a spot on the West QEW west of Winston Churchill. Construction there has now wrapped up. It wasn't causing a delay, but now all lanes are open. Stop the spread. COVID-19 can be deadly. Staying home will keep your family, friends, and neighbors safe. Stay home. Visit ontario.ca/coronavirus, paid for by the Government of Ontario. Your next report at 5:01, and with the extended forecast, here's meteorologist Natasha Ranzahai.
Yeah, Friday flurries in the extended forecast, and the supermoon is on tonight. We are not going to be able to see it because of the cloud. We've got showers in place overnight tonight, 4 to 8 millimeters. It's tapering to drizzle in the morning as we wake up to 6 degrees. But really, we're not going to dry out and get those sunny breaks until the afternoon. Tomorrow's high 14. Second round of rain Wednesday night into Thursday. Likely another 2 to 5 millimeters. Very windy on Thursday, mainly cloudy and a high of 9. And then Thursday night, we now start mixing in some wet snow with the rain. And by Friday morning, we'll likely wake up to some lake effect flurries, especially to the north GTA. Very windy, gusts potentially up to 80 kilometers per hour Friday. And it's cool.
I was thinking you were going to say some bullshit
like that. 6 degrees right now. It is 13 degrees up here.
You.
Coming up at 5, the city of Toronto recalling tens of thousands of faulty surgical masks that were distributed to long-term care homes. And in Brampton, a cyclist who suffered life-threatening injuries after colliding with a transport truck.
This is 680 News.
Introducing Irwin's new Command Lock Tape Measures, built for extra control with a finger bridge, up to 14-foot reach, and a high-contrast DuPont Mylar film-coated white blade. Plus, it comes in a high-impact resistant case. When every quarter-inch matters, these tapes are designed with your job in mind. New Irwin Command Lock Tapes, built for the trades. Available only at Canadian Tire stores across Canada. Find out more at irwintools.ca.
Anytime. We're live at Midland and Eglinton. Anywhere. Live at Queen's Park in Richmond South.
680 News is there.
Inside Police Headquarters, I'm Mark Douglas.
Live from the scene.
Reporting live at the University Avenue Courthouse.
Where breaking news is happening.
Inside the King and John, Kevin Meisner reporting live at City Hall. I'm Logan Kureshi.
Breaking news, traffic, and weather.
In the downtown area. Reporting live, Melissa McCauley, 680 News.
This is 680 News at 680news.com.
Ellen DeGeneres is back and taking some flack for a joke she made upon her return.
Ellen DeGeneres' daytime talk show has been off
It's
the air
like
for
being
most
in
of the
jail.
coronavirus
I
shutdown.
said, now you guys get to feel how I feel when I'm on house arrest.
And those on the front lines.
You can go out to get groceries and go home, and that's it. Don't fuck around. Don't make us find a reason.
It's mostly because I've been wearing the same clothes for 10 days and everyone in here is gay. The jokes that I have.
On social media, Ellen was trending for the wrong reasons, slammed for being tone deaf. Many pointing out that she was sitting in her comfy mansion while people in actual jails are getting coronavirus.
But that's the irony. Yeah, you have a mansion,
ABC News.
and you can't go nowhere, and now you're stuck in that mansion.
City News Time, 4:55. David Jones here from Hire the Gardener. COVID-19 has brought a lot of change. I hope you're coping well. Many
This
have
is
asked
a
me
jail
if we're
stuff,
still
but I gotta
open.
pay for
Absolutely.
it and
The
bring
grass will
food.
still grow. Weeds will still need picking.
Fix it if
and the
it breaks and
gardener is
everything.
still
But it's a jail
100% committed
cell.
to maintaining
No
and
different than
beautifying
a
the
cell. It's an
24/7
animal
view
holding
from your window.
cage.
You don't have to come
It's a
near us,
pen.
but you can definitely wave to us. Talk to us at hirethegardener.com. Take care of your home, and let's all take care of each other.
At this
You know, you
difficult
take care
time,
of your
New
own,
Life
I'll
Fertility
take care of
Center
mine.
wishes you good health and safety and thanks the government for helping lift the financial burden. It's been hard, but from this hardship will come new life. And when you start yours, consider partnering with New Life Fertility. Don't worry about the cost, because New Life also stands by you financially with the guaranteed lowest IVF cost, just $7,900, and the highest success rate. Terms and conditions apply. NewLifeFertility.com.
Makes you open up your lungs.
680 News Time, 4:56.
At the 680
Doctor
News Business
alerted.
Report, here's Richard Southern.
Again, good afternoon. It's an unfortunate side effect of the pandemic. Dairy farmers across Ontario are dumping fresh milk right down the drain. No, it's not that the likes of you and I are buying less milk from the grocery store. It really has to do
That's it. I'm
with
hoarding.
some of the
I'm gonna
biggest
buy
players
every
in the
last
food
tin of
industry
milk.
consuming less of it. Schools,
And then when they bring up the
restaurants,
next cases, I'm gonna take one from
Tim
each
Hortons
case.
usually buy a ton of milk and cream, but
And
of
not
course
buy
they're not
any.
buying as much now with schools and restaurants closed, and Tim Hortons perhaps selling fewer coffees, what with it being drive-through only. Dairy Farmers of Ontario, that group, says the disposing of
I'll
milk
sell you the
is
coffee,
an
but you can't
extraordinary
piss in
measure,
here.
and they only do it in emergency situations like this. It does say, though, that there's no risk of the grocery stores running out of milk. That's going to be just fine. And by the way, the dairy farmers will share the lost costs associated with dumping the milk. Meantime,
why did you just donate it to the? You want our money to buy milk for the food bank,
with a lack of
but
farm
you
workers,
just threw milk
mandatory quarantines
down
of
the
seasonal
drain.
workers in Canada could hurt the
Fucking
fruit and
country.
vegetable output
That's, you
this
gotta
year.
watch. They'll get you
Some
coming and
farmers
going.
right here in Ontario say they will be unable to harvest their asparagus crop when it comes in next month, unless foreign workers start arriving by mid-April. Other farmers worry about smaller fruit harvests due to a lack of labor. Well, it looked like the Bay and Wall Street markets would give a harvest of gains today. Wasn't the case. We saw the most robust gains fizzle in the last half an hour of trade. The TSX closing higher, but only by 21 points at 13,613. The Dow gave up what at one point was a 937-point gain to close down 26 points to 22,653. S&P down 4 points, and the Nasdaq down 25. A lot of it had to do with oil, which fell more than 9% late in the session, kind of souring some of the mood. Price for gold as well, lower by $10, 1,683 US dollars the ounce. Canadian dollar held on to gains. It's up to 71.42 cents US. Top stories coming up in 60 seconds right here on 680 News.
Hi, I'm Adam, founder of NewBorrow.com, and I started our company after I got fed up with the mortgage loan process. Turns out I wasn't alone. Thousands of homeowners wanted help.
They went above and beyond to help me get a line of credit. It was amazing service.
They treated me like a valued client and outperformed anyone I spoke to. Want to lower your mortgage payments and save a little money?
Use your home to get a loan with New Borrow. Visit newborrow.com. License 13115.
Are you looking for a ministry-inspected online high school where you can earn credits or upgrade your marks? Learn from home with the Ontario Virtual School. The Ontario Virtual School allows you to earn OSSD credits while you learn from home, so you can get your high school diploma. Now is a good time to sign up. Set your own schedule and get 24-hour access to our certified teachers. Some courses can be completed in as little as 4 weeks. Learn more at OntarioVirtualSchool.ca.
Now, 680 News regional weather conditions for Coy Brothers.
Toro grandstand mowers are stand-on mowers with versatility.
Multiple attachments and all-season use.
Toro grandstand mowers at Coy Brothers.
KOYBROS.com.
None of these
and markedly clear in 12 Mississauga, partly cloudy, and 12 downtown Toronto. Right now, partly cloudy and 13 degrees.
That will play the radio station.
AM Toronto, it's 5 o'clock.
The unmanned. There's a computerized military box. This is government use only on it by order of the Queen. That beep is coming no matter what.
Good afternoon. It's Tuesday, April 7th.
Here's what you need to know right now.
The city of Toronto is recalling thousands of substandard surgical masks 10 days after they were distributed to long-term care homes.
Ontario reports 379 new confirmed COVID-19 cases, with the number of outbreaks at long-term care homes climbing to 51.
Why are people disposing of their masks and gloves on city streets? That's what the mayor wants to know.
It's bullheaded conduct.
John Tory says it's risky behavior and he wants it stopped.
Who do you think's cleaning it up, eh?
Head west to Arizona as a quarantine
city
location.
workers
Alex
that you don't see.
Hey,
Where are
the
they?
start
Where
of
are
the
they?
CFL
That's
season
what's
has been
notice.
postponed.
You
Sports
can't help but
15.
notice. Who do you think's cleaning that shit
Dow
up?
gives up a gain of more than 900 points to close lower, and a big bet made on the cruise line industry recovering. Business at 20 cents.
I think they just want the boat so they can say they have a budget. I have a boat. I have a boat too.
Together on the ones brought to you by 407 ETR
Habibi,
Airport. Shopper 680
right?
Jordan.
Flying over Tompkin, and we still have it closed both ways south of Steeles through Advance. That's all because of a cyclist struck by a transport truck at the intersection.
That's all because of a transport truck striking a cyclist.
Police and all sorts of
trying
major
to
collision
blame
bureau.
anybody.
Everyone's here doing an investigation.
very subtle.
Could be closed off for a while longer. Tractor trailer, as I said, still on scene. So Tompkin itself is closed off from Wilkinson to Steelwell. Follow Wilkinson to the east of Tompkin around as an alternate. You'll come out on the other side of the closure.
All I'm thinking
no matter
is,
which direction
what's
you're
on the
going.
trail?
Do not turn onto Advance because you'll be turned around as you approach the intersection. A bit earlier, I flew over Finch and Kiel, and eastbound Finch from Sentinel to Kiel, down to a single lane for construction. It's slow through that stretch. From the 680 Traffic Center, Kyle Hawking.
The only area of concern on the major routes is westbound 401 between Harmony and just west of Ritson Road. We have the left lane blocked for emergency construction. Crews are on scene repairing a light standard that was damaged when a tractor trailer rolled over in this area last night. No delay through this area, but watch out for the crews. West 401 between Harmony and just west of Ritson in the left lane. That's pretty well all. A minor spot on the 400 northbound heading through Barrie. At Duckworth, the left lane is also blocked for maintenance there. 407 ETR would like to thank all the healthcare workers and essential services who are working tirelessly for our communities through difficult times. 407etr.com. Stay safe. Your next report at 5:11, and with the forecast,
the bank is giving them priority service.
Well, it's definitely getting colder as the week goes on. Overnight tonight, though, we're still on the mild side, down to 6 degrees.
You're giving them a shout out on the
about
radio.
48 millimeters of rain coming through this evening, overnight, and even some drizzle lingering through tomorrow
Give them some
morning.
3
After about
kilometers.
2-3 p.m., we'll start getting
They gotta
back
go
into
from
some
hospital
sun with
to
a high of
hospital.
14 degrees. Tonight, we're down to a low of 6 degrees. It is now 13 degrees at Pearson.
680 News Time, 5:03.
Who the fuck else is on your stupid road right now? Nobody.
admission from the city today. A decision to recall for poor quality surgical masks. More than 60,000 of them sent to our long-term care homes.
6 Cities Michelle Mackey joins us with details of the
trying to kill
recall.
all the old people. I swear to God, they're trying to kill all the old people. The old people are the ones I listen to. I don't listen to nobody younger than me.
10 days after more than
Usually.
62,000 of
I
them
listen
were
to
distributed
kids, but
to
not.
Toronto's long-term care homes.
Grown up, you're younger than me, you're dumb.
Upon becoming aware of this situation, we took action and recalled the masks.
They were reportedly ripping and tearing, and an investigation is now underway to determine how many employees in the long-term care
the
homes were
refund
caring
means you
for
have to
a
send the
patient who
masks
were wearing
back,
the
and then
masks,
they're going to try to
and
sell
if
them
there
to
was a
somebody else.
possible
You know, you
exposure
should
to
burn them
COVID-19.
and tell us
She
where this
also
company
says the
is,
masks
and
are
we'll
being
go find
returned,
these people.
and the vendor has agreed to the
show you
full
not to do shit like that to Toronto.
$200,000 refund.
The city is now relying on its remaining stock of surgical masks, while replacement masks can be purchased.
So there's bad masks for the old people?
This order, as the city's current stockpile only has a 2 to 3 week supply of surgical masks remaining. Reporting live, I'm Michelle Mackey.
The province is reporting another triple-digit batch of confirmed cases, with growing concern about the safety of residents in long-term care homes.
Ontario is reporting 379 new cases of COVID-19, including 21 more deaths. That brings the totals in the province to 4,726 confirmed cases, including 153 deaths. The number of outbreaks at long-term care homes has climbed to 51. NDP leader Andrea Horvath says the government should be doing more, including recruiting extra staff and more staff per shift in each long-term care home.
Less staff. Thin it out a bit.
Staff member to one facility only, ending all exceptions.
One section, one area, one floor, whatever your subdivision is.
There have been at least 69 COVID-19 related deaths of people who had been in long-term care homes.
We're going to do the trap house relay like we do.
Construction has begun on a pandemic response unit on the grounds of Trillium Health's Mississauga Hospital. It's a modular unit that will increase capacity for potential influx of positive COVID-19 patients that the hospital anticipates they may be admitting in the weeks ahead. It can hold up to 80 plus patients and is expected to be ready to go by the end of this month. Trillium Health says it has the ability to build 2 more pandemic response units if needed.
This is 680 News. A rubber glove on your lawn, a discarded mask on your street. These are the scenes that many of us are dealing with as some people discard their protective gear wherever they want. 680's Phil Martino joins us live with word.
Oh, such a dog, so finding it everywhere.
Well, that's right, James. The Mayor, John Tory, is not impressed.
I think it is potentially a big risk, and it's just the wrong thing to do. It's boneheaded conduct, and frankly, it's littering, even if you leave aside the healthcare aspects of this.
So the mayor is asking people to stop disposing of their masks and gloves outside of hospitals and supermarkets. He's reminding residents that the fine for littering in Toronto is $500. In addition, Tory is asking people to stop leaving donation bags outside those donation bins right now.
Yeah, I'm going to take those to the curb too,
garbage there either. He says crews will be
get mold growing in there,
blitzing
then the next clean thing somebody puts in the bin is going to be moldy.
As
You're just
thousands of
making one
Canadian
fucking
companies
problem
step up
after
to
another.
manufacture much-needed protective equipment, the GTA companies rolled out the first batch of soon-to-be certified masks. 680's Mark Douglas joins us with a good news announcement made by Premier Ford today.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford picking up the first batch of made in Ontario medical masks. Ford went up in person to Woodbridge Group in Vaughan to get the first 1,000. He says that plant will eventually make millions of those masks, but the Premier
it's in Vaughan, but it's called Woodbridge.
On how soon Ontario
could
be
self-sufficient. Why would it not be called Vaughan Group or located in Woodbridge? No. We're Woodbridge
He says that's a fluid process. However,
we could get a shipment of 100,000 masks in one day, and it moves the needle. We have people donating every single day, but if you're asking me,
where's all the coffee trucks? Can we order them to hit the street? We have money.
Made by Woodbridge
we need
Group
coffee.
Still need to be certified as N95
we won't touch you. We'll just put money down.
I'm Mark Douglas. This is 680 News. From critical ventilators to hospital gowns, Prime Minister Trudeau says Canadian companies are stepping up to produce much-needed medical supplies.
Canadian companies are answering the call
to ensure that our frontline workers have everything they need to save lives.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says about 5,000 companies across the country have taken up the federal offer to help produce medical supplies that are in dire need, not just here at home, but around the world. Parka maker Canada Goose and underwear producer Stanfields are just some of the businesses altering manufacturing manufacturing lines to help make items like hospital gowns and face masks. And the Prime Minister says the government's also landed an important deal with several medical companies
to produce up to 30,000 made in Canada ventilators. These purchases will help increase our capacity to make sure these life-saving machines are made right here at home.
The government's also still tapping international suppliers, receiving 8 million masks from China yesterday and expecting to receive 500,000 more from 3M tomorrow. Meanwhile, on the first day of applications for the Canada Emergency Response Benefit, more than 960,000 people qualified, with hundreds of thousands more expected today and for the rest of the week. Cormac McSwinney, Parliament Hill.
This is 680 News.
All these beer cans are going to get turned into ventilators.
Has informed you they cannot make April rent or ask to negotiate a reduced rent? With the COVID-19 crisis, you can no longer evict a tenant for non-payment
and the rail line that takes this shit away are all located out here. Oh, we have everything on lock. You are not fucking with us.
Featuring Elaine Page, past Ontario Law Society Paralegal of the Year, to learn how to protect yourself as a landlord. Again, that is
Bond Bridge, whatever the fuck. How the fuck you located in Vaughan call yourself Woodbridge Group? What the fuck why not Vaughan Group? What the fuck? What did you expand? You should have fucking added.
680 News, gas price update. Enpro predicts the price will rise a cent at midnight. And then we're hearing talk of perhaps a 3-cent drop early Thursday. Traffic and weather in 60 seconds.
Oh, you located in Woodbridge. Hey, I've been there. No, we're in Vaughan.
So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men in a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're 2 men in a truck. We're open for business. 2 men in a truck, the movers who care.
Stop the spread. COVID-19 can be deadly. The time to act is now. Everyone must do their part to stop the spread of COVID-19. Stay at home. Period. Full stop. Only go out if absolutely necessary. That means for groceries, for medications, for medical appointments, or if you provide an essential service. Protect yourself and others.
Providing an essential service.
For information, visit ontario.ca/coronavirus. Paid for by the Government of Ontario.
680 News Time, 5:11.
Traffic and weather together on the ones brought to you by MyMuskokaCottages.com. Airport Chopper 680.
The fire of the continued closure of Tompkin and Brampton south of Steeles between Wilkinson and Steelwell. It's closed up all because of a collision investigation. Cycle was struck by a tractor trailer. Major Collision Bureau on scene. A lot of police officers here investigating. There's tape all over the roadway. So if you're going north or southbound on Tompkin,
use Wilkinson to get around it.
If you just follow Wilkinson around, you'll be on the other side of the closure. Don't turn onto Advance, because if you go down Advance towards Tompkin, you'll be turned around as it's closed through that stretch. Again, the intersection of Tompkin and Advance closed for one in all directions, which means there's no going through that intersection. Elsewhere on city streets, we have King and Shaw down to a single lane, east and westbound on King, all because of TTC track work, and there's no through traffic on Shaw through King because of that. From the 680 Traffic Center, Kyle Hawking.
We have just one spot in the GTA where lanes are blocked on the highways. Westbound 401 from Harmony Road to west of Ritson. The left lane is blocked for repairs to a light standard damaged in a collision last night. So no delay through there, but expect crews blocking that left lane.
You'll never know that even
across the GTA. One more spot just outside the city, northbound 400 in Duckworth in the Barrie area. The left lane is closed for construction here. All in all, the volume is pretty light. You won't run into any issues as you travel across the city. $60 million worth of luxury cottages await your arrival. Muskoka Realtor Bob Clark is excited to showcase these fabulous lakefront properties. Visit mymuskokacottages.com. Your next report at 5:21, and with the forecast, here's meteorologist Natasha Ramsahai.
Yeah, we've got a couple of spotty showers so far. It's going to pick up in intensity this evening, overnight tonight as well. We'll get about 4 to 8 millimeters of rain, so if you haven't brought in the patio cushions yet, make sure you do that. And then drizzle up until noon. We'll get some sunny breaks after that late in the day with a high of 14 degrees. Thursday, we're back to seasonal at 9. Now, early in the morning, we are now watching for not only pre-dawn showers in Toronto, but possibly some wet snow off to the north. That's early Thursday morning. Drier through the afternoon, very windy. And then Thursday night, possibly another round of lake effect rain, snow showers. Overnight tonight, we're down to a low of 6 degrees.
Lake effect rain, snow showers.
Dynamic Funds Market Minutes.
You're full of shit.
At the home office, Richie.
Hey, James, good evening. Stocks gave up what were robust gains to close rather weak. The Dow closed down 26 points at 22,653. The Dow actually erased what at one point was a 937-point gain. S&P fell 4 points, and the NASDAQ fell 20. And a lot of this had to do with the late-day sell-off for oil, which dropped more than $2.40 to $23.63 per barrel. TSX, mind you, did manage a gain, but it was only 21 points. TSX up 21, about 0.1% to 13,614. And the Canadian dollar up at 71.41 cents US. That's your market. This is 680 News.
What's the cost of investing without advice? That's a great question. Speak to a financial advisor today and visit dynamic.ca/advice to find out why advice matters.
Hi, I'm Anthony Longo. Our family has been proud to serve